You're planning for retirement, putting your kids through college, or saving up for your next adventure, Vanguard can help you set personalized investment goals. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Copyright 2024, The Vanguard Group, Inc. All rights reserved. Vanguard Marketing Corporation Distributor.
Hey Wildcat fans, Arizona football is here. Catch head coach Brent Brennan as the Wildcats enter their inaugural season of the Big 12 Conference. We need you to be part of the action, filling the stands and cheering on Arizona. Secure your seats for all 7 home games with season tickets, or pick the plan that is best for you by calling the ticket office at 520-621-2287 or visiting ArizonaWildcats.com/FB. Lock in your tickets today. We'll see you at Arizona Stadium. Bear down. Go Cats!
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
The kids are back in school, and it's still hot in Tucson. Due to the huge response from the $69 diagnostic service special, we're going to keep it going for September. Picturox Cooling, keeping you cool all summer long, proudly featuring Rheem air conditioning systems. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-2794.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-2794. That's 800-575-2794.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. You're listening to the home of the best coverage of your Phoenix Suns and the NBA. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata.
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Mount Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
And a great Wednesday afternoon to you. Hump Day here in Southern Arizona. Hope you're having a great hump day as we continue to see temperatures above 100 degrees. So much for fall here in the desert. Or maybe this is fall in the desert. No falling temperatures. Whew. We'll take it, though. It's what we do. The plot thickens for your Arizona Diamondbacks. We mentioned yesterday, and I asked you, are you getting nervous? And after what happened last night at Chase Field, it might just be time to be a little bit nervous. Let's dive right into your Diamondbacks download.
Diamondbacks download.
Baseball stuff! Baseball stuff!
All right, the Diamondbacks had a chance to sweep the Milwaukee Brewers over the weekend. They had won Thursday. They'd won Friday. They'd won Saturday. And then they had an 8-0 lead on Sunday and let it slip away. And, I mean, this baseball thing can be a funny game when you have Mo and it looks like you're cruising and then something like that happens where you blow an 8-run lead and it can quickly put you off the tracks. And that is exactly what has happened to this Arizona Diamondbacks. After 3 straight wins, they have now turned around and dropped 3 games in a row. This game was ugly from the start last night. San Francisco got a run in the first inning on a home run, and then they busted the doors off of this one in the second.
He insisted that if you really look at the numbers, you don't get that many more outs playing the infield back than you do infield in. 1-0. Conforto drives one out towards left center field. McCarthy back of the wall. Gone! Who cares where the infield's playing? Michael Conforto launches one. And that's going to be it for Brandon Pfaadt. Torey Lovello's coming out. They are not waiting around. Tells you the urgency for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Wisely hits a high drive. Right field. Carroll at the wall. Gone! Brett Wisely takes Walston deep. Blake Walston gives up the 3-run homer to Wisely. And it's 7-0 Giants. Wow.
Wow, indeed. 11-0. The final last night. Brandon Pfaadt, you heard, lifted in the third inning. 2 2/3, 5 runs, 4 earned on 6 hits. 6 hits, 2 walks. 62 pitches in 2 2/3 innings. And gave up 2 home runs. He had given up the home run in the first, and then the shot to Michael Conforto, the 3-run shot. And then Brett Wisely came in and took Brent Walston to the woodshed. Walston gave up 3 home runs last night. 5 jacks for San Francisco as they win it 11-0. And oh boy, all of a sudden, Arizona's lead for what is now the final wild card spot in the National League is down to a half game. A half game over the Atlanta Braves, who unfortunately, again, are surging. They have won 3 straight. The Giants with that win last night, that's 5 in a row, and unfortunately, they got hot too late. They're not going to catch the Diamondbacks or the Giants. In fact, they've already been eliminated. The only team left with a shot is the Braves, who are 86-71. The Diamondbacks are 87-71. So a half game separating these two teams as we go down the stretch of this season. 5 games left for the Braves, 4 games left for the Diamondbacks. I'm sorry, check that. The Braves actually have 7 games left because they had that rain out. They're going to have to play a doubleheader. They had the rain out the last 2 days. So they're going to have to play a doubleheader Monday. And now there's talk with Hurricane Helene that they might not get very many of these games in against Kansas City this weekend. So it's going to be very interesting. We'll have to kind of get a little bit more of an update on how that could potentially play out. So they were rained out in today in New York, and tomorrow's game has already been postponed. So they're heading home, 3 against Kansas City, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if they can get any of those games in. And then they got to go, it looks like, they were already at home, so they'll have so New York will come back to Atlanta for 2 games on Monday. Wow.
I got some trivia for you.
Trivia. Oh, man.
When was the last time Major League Baseball had a triple header?
With 2 teams playing 3 games in one day?
You're talking about storms potentially raining down the parade of the Braves being able to finish their final 7 games. You know, you bump up against potential wild card season, right, DK? And then you got to scramble. 1920 is the last time there was a triple header, so that's not a possibility.
Wow. 1920?
That's right.
Yeah.
Been a minute.
I don't know that they would do that. I don't know if the Players Association would ever sign off on that. But what a interesting situation we could have coming down the stretch of Major League Baseball with the weather that is brewing in the southeast due to this hurricane that they anticipate will make landfall somewhere around the Gulf Coast of Florida on Thursday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon. Hurricane Helene.
Meanwhile,
it's not the first time hurricanes have messed with things in professional
They
sport.
do that quite a lot, actually.
Yes, they do.
Meanwhile, the Diamondbacks with 4 to go, they only have to see the Padres.
Right.
Next, who are 10-1 in their last 11 games.
And who really believe that they've got a shot to win this division now. They're just 2 games back.
It's so crazy. I mean, I don't know what the record is for 2 teams in one division, their turnaround after the All-Star break, but what the Diamondbacks and the Padres have both done, both those teams are at 500 at the All-Star turn. And the Padres are currently 91-66.
Yeah. It is pretty impressive, to say the least. I mean, like you said, actually the Padres were 50-49 at the break.
Yeah, I remember checking it at the break because I was keeping track when the
So
Diamondbacks went on their run that the Padres were keeping a pace with the Diamondbacks, and both of those teams have gone crazy since the All-Star break.
So that's 41 and 17. They're 41-17 are the Padres since the break. They started, they lost their first game on that road trip to Cleveland, and then they reeled off, I think, 7 in a row after that, and they just have not really stopped losing. And they're they've currently won 5 straight.
Good sign of a good team, DK. They've only had 2 losses in a row in this stretch in the second half of the Major League Baseball season. They have not lost 3 games in a row.
No. I mean, that's absolutely phenomenal what they've done down the stretch. They've got 2 games left against Los Angeles. They'll play L.A. tonight and L.A. tomorrow, and then they come to Arizona for the weekend. They clinched a spot last night in the playoffs, so they're in regardless of what happens. They're in, are the Padres, as right now the number 1 wild card. And we're trying to figure out who the other 2 teams are going to be, and Arizona is competing for one of those spots. Right now, if it ended today, obviously Arizona is in, and it's almost the exact same scenario as last year, where they're playing the Brewers in the same bracket with the Dodgers, which is the route they had to go to get to the World Series last year as the number 6 seed, staring at another 6 seed in the postseason again this year. All right, let's hear from Torey Lovello about not a very good night at Chase Field.
Usually I try to filter things the right way and come up with something that's going to sound a little bit positive, but I don't think there's much that was positive that came from this game today. So I don't want to sit here and just hammer away at things because you guys saw what I saw. We got to play better baseball. We got to play, more focused baseball. It's all built off of pitching, and that makes the game look crisp and gets the flow and keeps everybody engaged when you're attacking the zone. I just think there was bits and pieces of that today, and we got to be better in that area. Brandon was just grinding. He was probably, there's some 12 to 18 inch misses, and this just was one of those days for him. He was doing all he could. I think Corbin made a great play to keep us in the game. That ball that he pulled back in the second that kept us in the game. But it just got out of control. So we got to flush this one. We got 4 games left, and we got something right in front of us that's really, really special. But we can't get sidetracked by it. What we're trying to do, we got to focus on tomorrow and take care of business. But this was certainly a frustrating day, and I want these guys to feel it. I want them to understand why it happened, and then flush it and be ready to go tomorrow.
All right, that's Torey Lovello after last night's 11-0 loss to the San Francisco Giants, who, again, I mentioned have won 5 straight games. Game 3 of this series, Giants, well, here we go again. The Diamondbacks are on the edge of a sweep, getting swept, which means they'll probably win tonight because this is the 5th time. I believe this is the 5th time in the last month the Diamondbacks have been facing a series sweep, and they've not been swept in any of those series. So let's hope that that charm of good luck in the final game of a series stays going for this Arizona Diamondbacks ball club because they absolutely need it. 6:40 first pitch tonight at Chase Field. It will be Mason Black for the Giants, 1-4, a .588 earned run average. Zach Gallen, that's the guy you want on the bump, 13-6, .374 earned run average. You got your ace out there. The Diamondbacks at -225 on the money line. That is the play tonight, which means if you're betting on the Diamondbacks, you got to bet a whole lot of money to win any money tonight. But that is what's out there. The over-under is 8.5. If you're playing the under today, it's at -105. 6:40 first pitch. Giants and Diamondbacks. Arizona in desperate need of a win. Again, the Braves will not play today. They've already been rained out at the Mets, or at home against the Mets, as the precursors of the hurricane have already begun to hit South Georgia. So they're looking at some dicey weather over the course of the next few days to try to even complete their season. I remember one year in the minor leagues, I think it was the Katrina season. So that would have been, I believe, 2005. Essentially, I remember the New Orleans Zephyrs, they had to go finish the season in Iowa. They were supposed to play the Iowa Cubs in New Orleans. They flipped that entire series to Iowa to be able to finish it. And I believe, I forget exactly where we were. I think we were actually on the road, so we got to finish our season that year. But there were a bunch of teams that did not get to finish their seasons. And I believe the instances across the minor leagues, it's happened in the past. They've had to cancel the postseason because of hurricanes and whatnot in the South. And so not anything unusual to the game of baseball to be dealing with hurricane situations at this time of the year.
Just to put all this, DK, just explain to you listeners into perspective, they have 7 games left, do the Braves. Their final game is meant to be played on the 30th of September, DK.
Yeah.
So that means that they have these 7 games, including the 2 to make up versus the Mets, the other 3 versus Kansas City, all to be played within the next 5 days.
Right. Yep. It's interesting. It's going to be, we're going to just keep an eye on it over the course of the next few days and see how it all plays out. The bottom line for the Diamondbacks, though, is they just have to win. They got to win. If the Diamondbacks win, they're in the driver's seat.
Just win, baby.
They control their own destiny. Just win. As Al Davis used to say, just win, baby, and you are in. You don't have to worry about what's going on down south with Hurricanes and the Braves and the Mets and whoever else they're playing this weekend. You don't have to worry about any of that as long as you win. DK on the sports tip. A lot to get to today. We're going to talk football. Kyle Quinn, who's a part of our broadcast team on game days, is going to join us. We'll get his thoughts on the offensive line situation, how they're playing. Wildcats in Utah this Saturday in Salt Lake City. Kyle will join us around 5:20 today. Desiree Reed-Francois, her weekly visit will be around 4:20 in the show this afternoon. We'll also hear from the head coach of Arizona Volleyball, Charita Stubbs. The ladies will play their first Big 12 game tonight in Waco, Texas, against the Baylor Bears. Cricket, though, right now joins us to get you home for the first time this afternoon, and she does so every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With a collision reported Ajo and Mission and Ajo Way, some slowing at the intersection Ajo Way and Mission. And also there is an excessive heat warning in effect from 10 a.m. Friday until 7 p.m. on Saturday. And it is 1:05 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
I'm Kamala Harris. Here's a few things I believe. Middle-class families, like the one I grew up in, they want common sense solutions. You want lower prices and lower taxes. I believe you want to just not get by, but you want to get ahead. We must create an opportunity economy where everyone has a chance to get a car loan, buy a home, start a business. And I believe we can make that happen.
Kamala Harris's plan? Bring down costs by cracking down on corporate price gougers. Make homeownership more affordable for families. A middle-class tax cut for 100 million Americans. And make sure billionaires and big corporations pay their fair share so you can keep more of the money you've earned.
And instead of being focused on the politics of the past, we need to be thinking about the future and how we make it better for families like yours. I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for President.
There are many reasons you might need Dorado Rockin' Materials. A few bare spots in the yard, the driveway needs filling in, or it could be that the yard needs a whole makeover. Whatever the reason, if your yard has the summertime blues, Dorado Rockin' Materials has everything from sand to boulders and every rock and pebble in between. If you need help spreading it, we have options for that too. Call 400-4233. Dorado Rockin' Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Marco Polo.
Hoping to find new customers online can feel like playing Marco Polo in the dark.
Plumber.
Right here.
Plumber.
Right here.
Let Cumulus Boost help spotlight your business. Boost your website. Boost your findability. Boost your reputation. Boost your business. Get a boost. Get found. Get on the map. Contact us today at cumulusboost.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-2794.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-2794. That's 800-575-2794.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Is he okay?
Ron, did you get hit on the head?
What? Oh, no. I was just reminiscing.
Here comes a story.
I was 5 or 6. A scruffy little ragamuffin, I was.
A scruffy? What are you, Charles Dickens?
Mama just wanted to comfort me.
Mama?
Comfort. It's why we started Alaskan AC, you know?
We know.
I was being a fuss budget. Golly, I was a scoundrel.
Get to the point.
These were the early days at Alaskan AC, see?
See.
It's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC.
Ron.
We don't take ourselves too seriously.
We literally just came up with the new Alaskan AC jingle last month.
What? Who's that? Who's there? Is it you, Mama?
Oh, boy.
Yes, Ronnie, it's Mama.
Did your little Ron Bon make you proud?
Every day, dear.
Why did I even come to work today?
Because...
it's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC. We don't take ourselves too seriously.
AlaskanAC.com.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. Bottom of the ninth. 4-2 Padres, but the Dodgers have men on first and second, nobody out. Miguel Rojas at the plate. The best player ever is on deck. Dodgers call for a bunt. He doesn't get it down. Dave Roberts calls the bunt off. And Rojas, of course, hits into a triple play. Game over. Thanks for coming. Padres clinch and party like it's 1999 in the visiting clubhouse. Uh-oh. Dodger fan, which always has the pitchforks at the ready for Dave Roberts, broke them out early. The postseason hasn't even started yet, and they were coming for Doc. If you know anything about me, you know I love Doc Roberts and always defend him, but this is the one time that I can't defend him. Get the bunt down. Even if you don't and you strike out, it's still better than a triple play. Football season is here, and Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action while watching football. The app is really simple to use. Pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your money. Download the Prize Picks app right now and use the code ROAM and get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. That's code ROAM on Prize Picks to get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
O'Reilly.
Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. You heard the Jim Rome report there. He was talking about what happened at the end of the game last night at Dodger Stadium between L.A. and San Diego.
Rojas on the ground at third. Machado touches third, fires to second. Out at first. Oh my goodness! It's a triple play. It ends the ball game. The San Diego Padres have clinched their spot in the postseason after a magical 2024 campaign.
So, first and second, nobody out. Shohei Ohtani on deck, and the game ends inexplicably on a triple play. And what makes this interesting, and you heard Jim Rome talk about it there, was the Dodgers tried to get the bunt down to move the runners, and they couldn't get the bunt down. The batter couldn't get the bunt down, and they hit away and hit into a triple play to end a game and send the Padres to the postseason. Unbelievable. Let's first hear from Dave Roberts after the game on how it ended.
I mean, there's less than a 1% chance that Shohei doesn't come up to bat. And unfortunately, that small percentage came into play.
So that situation, knowing Ohtani is on the deck, right after that, there was no consideration that he brought up the line. He just sort of defensive.
No. I mean, I don't think that you have to, it's first and second base, nobody out. Certainly the tying run is on first base. You bunt into that play, the first baseman's out. I just don't think that you're expecting a triple play, hit the ball hard, and I just can't play the game of, if it gets through, then it's a great play, and then if it hits right at him, then it's a bad play. It's just, you have to the game tells you what to do, and in that situation, everyone's playing in, shortstop is in the 6 hole, and there's just a lot of holes out there, so that's just the way you play baseball.
The potential of a triple play even cross your mind going into that?
Not at all.
And off the bat, were you thinking?
No. I thought he was going to go from third to first.
How shocking was that ending?
Yeah, I mean, it's shocking. That's the least likely outcome. Obviously, looking at how the game's played and how many triple plays are turned in a year. And to not get Shohei up is obviously very disappointing.
I guess the thing you have to sit here and say to yourself, and I've been watching baseball for all my life, and I get exactly what Dave Roberts is saying there. How often does a triple play happen? Like literally never. But I think you do. I think a great manager would have everything in his mind about what could potentially happen in this scenario that I've got here. And granted, you're not really thinking triple play there. The question is, should you be thinking triple play there? But more importantly, I think the question is I want to do whatever I can to make sure at least the best player on the planet gets a chance in the ninth. And if that means that I got to maybe tell my guy to bunt with 2 strikes and he strikes out, like Jim Rome was saying, then that's okay, because at least I get Shohei Ohtani to the plate and I got a chance. And with him and 2 on, 2 down, with a chance to potentially win a ball game.
How many games are there in a year for a team?
162.
And how many teams are there?
32.
There have been 4 triple plays this season.
Exactly. It's a very uncommon play. Very uncommon. So you're saying then, do you believe that Dave Roberts should have even been in his mind?
I think of it like this. I think most good managers are great blackjack players.
Right.
It's the same concept of, you know what you have. You're really playing the odds of what's coming next. And because you've spent your whole life in baseball, you know, with a guy on first and a guy on second and no outs, the chances of you hitting hard I didn't even see the play. Was it shortstop?
No, he hit it to Manny Machado at third.
So he hit it to third,
yeah.
Went to second and first type of thing. So the idea being like the odds of that hard shot, tripling up,
right,
with the best hitter in all of baseball on deck. You don't want to. That's again part of that whole equation. Whatever you're trying to do, you're trying to make sure Shohei gets a shot to do something good at the plate, because he's just on a tear. I just think of them playing the odds, and that's one of those deals. I don't know what the percentage actually is. 4 total triple plays all season long. In that, we'd have to check out how many scenarios there have been a guy on first, a guy on second with no outs, and that you'd have to factor that in as well. But I agree in that the idea that enters your mind, that's a 0.1, 0.5% of the time, that's the outcome. And yet, that's how baseball works. You know, sometimes what you don't expect to happen, DK, is what separates those teams that hoist the championship at the end.
And I want to go back. Let's go back to the I just want to play the first part of the initial cut, the Diamondbacks 0-1, because I want to set up actually what the announcer was talking about here, because it totally relates to what happened in the Dodger game. They were talking about the manager of the Giants, off the name, his name escapes me right now, but they were talking about him saying the percentages of outs. Do you get more outs if you play your infield in versus if you play your infield back? And the Padres were playing in because Machado was on the grass, hard hit. He catches it. He's able to get to the bag, and granted, the throws have to be perfect to get a triple play in that instance, and they were. And what the announcer for the Giants was saying is that the manager had said that there really is no definitive difference that you get more outs with your infield in versus your infield back. Play the first part of that initial D-backs cut again.
He insisted that if you really look at the numbers, you don't get that many more outs playing the infield back than you do infield in.
Wait for it.
1-0. Conforto drives one out towards left center field. McCarthy back of the wall. Gone!
Here it comes.
Who cares where the infield's playing? Michael Conforto.
Yeah, exactly.
Bob Melvin is the name you're looking for.
That's there you go. That Bob Melvin, Earl Weaver. I don't care where your infield is if my guy can hit a 3-run home run. That's old school baseball there. But that's I believe it was the same situation. I believe the Giants had first and second in that situation, and I would imagine I have to go back and see the play whether or not the Diamondbacks were in or back, but whatever. It's so ironic that came up in the Diamondbacks game, and then that's the exact situation with the infield in. They got 3 outs on an infield in situation off one play to win a game and put themselves into the postseason, did the San Diego Padres. So, again, if Dodgers, I know there's a lot of Dodger fans. If you're a Dodger fan out there, want to hear from you today, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Should Dave Roberts even been thinking that? Does Dave Roberts in that situation have to do whatever he can to get his best player, not only his best player, but again, the best player in the game, the best player on the planet, to the plate in the ninth with a chance to get you a win. Now, if Shohei hits into a double play, I'm cool with that. I mean, again, at least I got my best guy to the plate with a chance to win a ball game in the 9th inning. But I don't know. I gotta see what's this guy's name. The guy they went down with. I don't know if I want to go down with whoever I went down with in that 9th inning for the Dodgers at the end of that ball game. So that's where you. I think that's where you stand on that. I believe it was Rojas, the shortstop, was the one that hit it. Miguel Rojas. Yeah, who's got 6 home runs on the season. I don't think I want to go down with Miguel Rojas. I'd rather go down with Shohei Ohtani.
My favorite triple play happened actually 3 months exactly to the day before this recent one yesterday.
Is that right?
That was a 1-3-5 Phillies Tigers. 1-3-5 triple play, DK.
Yeah. That's I remember that one. That's
rare. Very rare.
Very tough to get an across the diamond play for the last out on that, but they did get that for sure. All right, we had another division winner last night as well.
Fans are ready to explode. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. The winners and still AL West champions, the Houston Astros. For the 4th straight year and the 7th time in the last 8 years, the Astros are the best in the AL West.
That's how it sounded on the Astros radio network on the English side, but you know we've got our guy out of Pueblo High School, Tucson's own, Francisco Romero, on the Spanish side. Here's his call of the final out.
El pitcher se prepara. Lanzamiento para home. Abanica y se poncha. Lo saca de combate y se poncha. Y los Astros de Houston, campeones de la División Oeste de la Liga Americana, campeones Astros de Houston, de nuevo, rumbo a la postemporada. Astros de Houston derrota a Marineros 4-3 en el marcador y se vuelven campeones de la División Oeste de la Liga Americana 2024. A la postemporada, Astros de Houston.
There you go, Francisco Romero. He's so spoiled. He gets to go to the playoffs again.
He's called like 97 no-hitters, right?
Something like that, yeah. Something like that. 7 division titles in the last 8 years, 4 in a row for the Astros who are back in. And my wife is going to be in Cleveland in mid-October, and we were online last night. She was trying to buy tickets for Game 5 of the ALDS because the Indians will have home field advantage in the first round. They'll likely have to play the Astros because the way it sets up right now, the Astros would be the 3 seed. They would play the Tigers in the wild card round and then line up against Cleveland. And she's like, do we want to? We don't want to. She's like, do we want to play Houston? I was like, no, you never want to play Houston. Houston, we've not had a lot of success against Houston in the postseason the last few years. But, hey, when you get to the Final Four, it's either going to be Houston or probably the Yankees. So you pick your poison.
Yeah, I mean, like the D-backs went through the Dodgers last year, right?
Yeah,
You're going to have to see some of the best teams, especially in your league, in your division, once you get to that round. So, yeah, Houston's been there 7 out of 8 years, you said?
7 out of 8 years.
You got to beat the best to be the best, right?
Yeah, there you go. All right, we're going to talk some hockey. Adrian Denny from the Tucson Roadrunners will join us. Rookie camp wraps up. They've got Fan Fest coming up this weekend, this Sunday night at the arena. We'll talk a little bit about that, get you started excited on some hockey. I forgot, and we got to get we didn't do much with the Arizona Wildcats hockey team last year. We got to get those folks on. We'll get Coach on, and I believe the women start playing as well this year. So we'll dive into maybe some Arizona hockey as well starting next week. DK on the sports tip. Cricket is getting you home as she does every 20 minutes on the Fives.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collisions that are reported Broadway and Harrison and Broadway Boulevard. Collision Ajo and Mission and Ajo Way, and some slowing at the intersection. An excessive heat warning from 10 a.m. Friday through 7 p.m. Saturday. Those highs near 107. 105 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Arizona Wildcats fans, make your smartphone smarter by liking us on Facebook at Wildcats 1290 for all the latest on the Wildcats, including football, men's hoops, and baseball. This is the exclusive home of Arizona football. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Can the Hoosiers keep rolling? I'm Joe Ostrowski here to help you beat the books with BetQL. Indiana is a surprise team in the Big Ten this season, and they look to stay hot when Maryland comes to town this weekend. Indiana is a 7-point home favorite, and the BetQL model likes the Hoosiers. BetQL has Indiana -7 as a 5-star best bet. I'm Joe Ostrowski. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL and BetMGM apps today.
Sean Furrier here for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Whether you're new to Arizona or you've been driving here for decades, we all share the same roads and the same extreme driving conditions like extreme Arizona heat, extremely large potholes, some extremely flooded roads, and there's always extremely distracted drivers, pedestrians, and that guy who drives a scooter backwards into oncoming traffic. You're driving in the world's largest video game, stopping, starting, turning, heating up, and cooling down. And that's just your afternoon commute. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care's 14 award-winning locations have been helping drivers just like you get home safely for over 60 years with top-quality tire brands, no hidden extras, and one low price. Jack Furrier has everything you need to stay in the game, like wheel alignments, batteries, brakes, air conditioning, service at prices that won't break the bank. Ask a neighbor or friend about Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care's friendly service, or stop by, make an appointment online, or call ahead to the local's choice. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Is he okay?
Ron, did you get hit on the head?
What? Oh, no. I was just reminiscing.
Here comes a story.
I was 5 or 6. A scruffy little ragamuffin, I was.
A scruffy? What are you, Charles Dickens?
Mama just wanted to comfort me.
Mama?
Comfort. It's why we started Alaskan AC, you know?
We know.
I was being a fuss budget. Golly, I was a scoundrel.
Get to the point.
These were the early days at Alaskan AC, see?
See.
It's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC.
Ron.
We don't take ourselves too seriously.
We literally just came up with the new Alaskan AC jingle last month.
What? Who's that? Who's there? Is it you, Mama?
Oh, boy.
Yes, Ronnie, it's Mama.
Did your little Ron Bon make you proud?
Every day, dear.
Why did I even come to work today?
Because...
It's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC. We don't take ourselves too seriously.
AlaskanAC.com.
At Wildcats Radio 1290, we're not just radio. We're your source in Tucson for digital marketing solutions. We specialize in creating strategic and effective marketing campaigns designed to get results for your business. Whether you want to target a local, regional, or a national audience, we have the right solution for your business. Call the Wildcats Radio 1290 business line at 520-887-1000 and put Cumulus Digital Media to work for you.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-859-3220. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220 or biglou.com.
This is Jim Rome with a Sports Minute. UNLV football is not relevant right now. Matt Sluka announced last night he would be taking his red shirt and sitting out the rest of the season. Quote, certain representations that were made to me which were not upheld after I enrolled. End of quote. NIL drama. Only shock to me is if this is the first time we've heard of anything like that. I'm Jim Rome.
There aren't many feelings worse than trying to start your car in the morning and being greeted with a dead battery, or being stuck on the side of the road when you don't need to be. 1 in 4 vehicles on the road will need a battery replacement this year. Don't be a statistic. Stop battery problems before they stop you by testing your battery regularly. Test yours at home or at select Napa locations nationwide. If you need a replacement, Napa has you covered with a full range of long-lasting, high-performance batteries for nearly every make and model on the road. So don't wait. Test your battery today and let Napa help you keep moving.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We are at the end of September, which means hockey is right around the corner. The Roadrunners will be back in town here shortly to prep for their season. We had the rookie camp a few weeks ago over in Salt Lake City, where the team is opening up their new home after moving from the Valley in Phoenix. And now they've got the training camp is open and games are starting to be played. And so let's talk some hockey, joined by the voice of the Tucson Roadrunners. Adrian Denny joins us. And Adrian, obviously you guys are starting to ramp up over there, and it's going to be a big weekend because Sunday night will be Fan Fest out at the arena, and fans will have a chance to come out and meet some of the fellows that are going to be playing this year.
Yeah, it's always our official start to the hockey season, DK, and thanks for having me on as always. Fan Fest, Sunday, 6 to 8. It's a free event. We're asking folks to RSVP just so we can manage the crowd. TucsonRoadrunners.com. We'll have Will Gavin and Leighton Moore, two of our returning guys that the fans love, on hand signing autographs. We'll have skating on the TCC ice. We've got free skate rental, so come on down. We'll have all sorts of samples. Pepsi will be involved. Some good free food and drinks. We'll have some barbecue from the TCC available as well, and we're excited to get rolling. And the guys will be in town on Monday and on the ice for the first time on Tuesday. So here we are, 105-degree day in Tucson. Let's get after it.
So the fellows will be here Monday. That's always a fun time. And I want to talk about maybe a few of the guys that we're going to see. I mentioned the rookie camp a couple of weeks ago over in Salt Lake City, and that obviously is an event that comprises a lot of guys that are probably going to be ending up on the ice here in Tucson. And then there was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a relatively new event that they had called the Rookie Face-Off over, I believe that was in Los Angeles, that involved maybe a bunch of top rookies, and the organization had one young man that went over for that, Cole Bowden. Tell us a bit about Cole, and is that a young man that we anticipate we might see down here in Tucson?
Yeah, he's a really fun kid. He's skilled. They love his character. They drafted him in the first round this year, and he's going to go back to Barrie, his junior team in the OHL. So he's going to be a year away from being pro. He's just 18 years old. But you talk about players that the organization's excited about, and there's so many draft picks that they've acquired and selected over the last 3-4 years, and Cole's at the top of that. His dad, Eric, played pro, so he's just
I thought the name was familiar.
Kid. Yeah, another kid like Josh Doan, who just grew up in the game, and it doesn't just in grade, knowing how to play hockey, but kind of the nuts and bolts of off the ice and leadership and character and all that stuff that it takes. So yeah, we're all really excited about Cole when he's that next birthday and ready to come play pro hockey.
And a lot of these guys maybe that were in this event are kind of guys that still might be, like you mentioned, bordering on lower levels as well as the AHL. Julian Lutz was another name we heard. I understand he's got very similar skills to Matthias Michelli, who we saw here a few years ago.
Yeah, Julian is another kid. He's best friends with Maxi Zuber, who was a rookie on our team last year and made his NHL debut, both from Germany. He played professionally in Germany for 2 years, won a championship with Maxi Zuber in the DEL, which is one of the top 3 leagues in the world, and then played last year in Green Bay in the United States Hockey League, over a point a game, second-round pick in 2022, and he's a guy that we're thinking we probably will see here in Tucson with his buddy Maxi.
We're chatting with none other than Adrian Denny. He is the voice of the Tucson Roadrunners. Season is upon us here. Things will be getting going for a couple of weeks for the fellas. They'll be in town Monday to start their Tucson side training. Let's talk, obviously, about one of the more important positions on the ice, and that's the goaltender. I know we talked before. It is anticipated Matthew Villalta will be back this year, but I understand we're also hearing about a youngster by the name of Anson Thornton, who could maybe potentially see some time up here. How will the goaltender situation shake out?
DK, we've got 4 guys in NHL camp right now that all played in the AHL last year. You got Anson, who made his pro debut last year, and he's still only 21 years old. He was signed to a free agent contract, played for the Jamaican national team when he was 18, 19. So he's got a lot of skill and a lot of potential. You mentioned Matt Villalta led the AHL with 31 wins last year. He is, I'd say, third in the organization on the goaltending depth chart, so likely to be the Roadrunners' starting goaltender. He played for Utah the third period of the preseason game on Monday night and earned the victory in goal against his former team, the Los Angeles Kings, after Clayton Keller got the overtime game-winning goal. One free agent acquisition that was signed in the offseason, Jackson Stauber, 18-8-3 last year with Rockford in the AHL, and he scored a goalie goal in a game that he got a shutout in April. So he could shoot the puck too, but you look at Matty and Jackson and Anson, that's 61 wins in the AHL last year when you add Dylan Wells to that, who won 10 games with the Roadrunners too.
And how does I know that there's, in some of these junior leagues, they have, I guess what I've been told is like limits in terms of like how long you can play there. Roll us through how that works in terms of guys that are obviously under contract with NHL clubs that can go back and still play in juniors, but how long they have to exhaust that eligibility before they have to be put on one of the pro clubs.
They have 5 years. You can be an overager, is what they call the fifth-year junior player, and you can have a limited amount on them. So it's usually going to be a guy that wants one more year before he turns pro, and then you're going to have guys like Tisha Ginla and Cole Baudouin and players that are ready to turn pro. They can play in the AHL if it's the birth year that they turn 20 years old in. So that's why we can't have Cole in the AHL. He can play in the NHL. So there's some rules there, but everything is like everything, right? Could always change. For instance, you've got some major junior guys playing in the NCAA, most notably a big one at ASU this year.
You mentioned T. Jingla, another guy that was in the rookie camp. What's his upside?
He was drafted 6th overall. His dad, Jerome Ginla, again, he's sensing a model here of finding just character, skill guys. He's hurt right now. My guess is he probably goes back to juniors in Kelowna, but 84 points in 64 games last year, but 6th overall was the first ever selection by Utah in June, and just another young player. He's a guy, wouldn't expect to see him in the AHL, but look at the guys that this organization has sent to the AHL, like Dylan Gunther, just for a little bit more. And look how it benefited Dylan. 28 points in 29 games, goes up last year, second half of the season there, star of the show, and then just gets an 8-year contract last week to really be solidified.
Yeah, I mean, Ingla's only 17 years old. I mean, I would think there's not a lot of 17-year-olds playing in the AHL, are there?
Yeah, it'd be a couple years before we saw him here.
Yeah.
So, but Bill Armstrong and John Ferguson aren't afraid to tell a kid, you know what, you're going to go down there and you're going to play against the best in the AHL on the first line, on the first power play unit. You're going to get minutes. Steve Potvin, the head coach there, has developed this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, and you're going to be the next guy to go spend some time in Tucson and then come up here and be ready to roll.
Yeah, you mentioned Steve Potvin back again as coach. What have been your conversations with him? What are his thoughts on what he's seen so far with the rookie camp and through training camp?
I think he's probably thinking, boy, I've got more guys on this roster than I'm going to be able to play. The Roadrunners, hands down, the favorites in the Pacific Division this year.
Oh, wow.
From last year's second place team. You got essentially the entire team coming back. You've got the prospects we talked about with Julian Lutz and Nico Matika as a big guy, and they really went out and added some big free agent pieces too, like Andrew Agozzino, who's been a captain in the AHL. We played against him with San Diego, San Jose, and Colorado. Kevin Connaughton, who we saw in the desert a couple of years ago, a veteran big D-man added. Robbie Russo, who we had with us during our division championship season that got canceled by COVID, is back. And then you look at the goaltending depth, Matt Villalta, Jackson Stauber, Dylan Wells, Anson Thornton. It's we talk about the forwards, the D and the goaltending on this team is really going to be good.
Outstanding. Well, we are looking forward to everything that is to come. Anything else in terms of the next couple of weeks that fans need to know? There won't be any exhibition games here in Southern Arizona. They'll play, I believe, the two up in Henderson, and then they'll start on the road before coming back here. I believe it's the 19th. Is that correct?
Yep, Saturday, October 19th, opening night against Texas. You know, the rivalry we've got against them, they're not in our division, but we've played some of our more memorable games against them. We had the opening night shutout against them when Ben McCartney got a hat trick back in 2021. We clinched the playoffs against them after being down 4-0 in 2022. The heartbreaking playoff series back in 2018, but our first ever whiteout season, and the excitement that we had there. So always something fun happens when we play Texas, and we're opening up against them for the second straight year. Last year we opened in Texas and won both games, and third time in 4 seasons we're playing them to get it rolling.
All right, again, it's the Fan Fest is coming up this Sunday night over at Tucson Arena. Fans can get there 6 to 8, so a couple of hours to meet the fellas and get out on the ice, maybe. And I think I went a few years ago. I think I swung at the net, and I might have gotten one in, but I think that was about it. But great barbecue and all kinds of other things will be out there at Tucson. The team's annual yard sale will be going on to benefit the Tucson Junior Roadrunners. So lots of fun out at the arena. Get on out there Sunday night from 6 to 8. Adrian, we always appreciate you. We'll chat again maybe after the first 2 exhibition games to get a sense of what it all looked like on the ice.
Sounds good, DK. I appreciate it, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Adrian Denny, the voice of the Tucson Roadrunners. The season is quickly upon us here in the American Hockey League. And again, like all we said before, all the games will be here in Tucson this year. 36 games. Tickets are still available. So get on over to TucsonRoadrunners.com and book your seats. We had, I believe, Daniel, who won the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge this past week, talked about how he and his buddy love the Roadrunners, and they're going to be out there supporting the club again this season. All right, DK on the sports tip. Much more coming up for you in the 4 o'clock hour. We will chat with Desiree Reed-Francois, the athletics director at U of A, get her thoughts on everything happening this weekend. First Big 12 home weekend for Arizona soccer is coming up. We'll talk to Desiree about that and a whole lot more. It is DK on the sports tip. Dragon Ball is off today. Cricket gets you home every 20 minutes on the 5s. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions that are reported, Prince and Oracle and Prince Road, Picture Rocks Road near Wade Road, that collision west of the intersection of Picture Rocks and Wade Road, Harrison and Broadway Boulevard, also Ahaway and Mission Clearing. An excessive heat warning 10 a.m. Friday till 7 p.m. Saturday, highs near 107, 105 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer.
John Legend here. How do I keep my protection against COVID-19 up to date with a COVID shot this season?
You can get your COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC. Ask your healthcare provider and book at VaxAssist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
O'Reilly. Extend the life of your engine with a full synthetic oil change and save at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, pick up 5 quarts of O'Reilly full synthetic motor oil and a MicroGuard oil filter for $29.99. Or upgrade to a MicroGuard Select filter for just $2 more. Limit supply. Offer in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Wendy's breakfast burrito has an entire breakfast in every bite. Fresh cracked eggs, seasoned potatoes, American cheese, cheese sauce, and sausage or bacon. So the first bite is like fresh cracked American cheese sauce. Bacon. And the second bite is like fresh cracked American cheese sauce. Bacon. And the third bite, you get the idea. The boss of breakfast burritos, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Join David Kelly, Kelvin Evon, and Glenn Howe at Corbett's this Saturday from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. for the Arizona Game Day pregame show as we get ready for Arizona versus Utah. Sponsored by Coors Light. Choose Chill, official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics.
Tune in to DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290 Thursday afternoons to compete in the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge, where you can win money by placing a bet on the right team this football season. More info at wildcatsradio1290.com.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter. Locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. The one and only home of Arizona basketball. Pre- and post-game coverage, play-by-play, and live press conferences. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata.
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 2 of the program on this Wednesday, which means we are one step closer to Friday, which means that it is almost Friday night. And we are going to be out at high school football on Friday night. I teased this yesterday, and then I ended up not telling you where we were going to be. So I guess I'm going to tell you that right now. We normally wait till Wednesday anyway, but we figured we would try to throw it out there on Tuesday, but we just never got to it on Tuesday. So we're going to get to it right now. It is almost Friday night. Sponsored by DNH Air Conditioning and Heating. Thanks to those folks over there for being our sponsors of It's Almost Friday Night, the pregame show. And this Friday night, we are taking the pregame show to Flowing Wells High School for the Caballeros game against Phoenix Goldwater. The Flowing Wells Caballeros off to a fabulous start to this season, and we are looking forward to going out there. It's one of those places that I've always enjoyed going to and watching a football game. They've got grass there, which is it's never a bad thing. Nothing against all these turf field schools, but I like a good football game on some grass. And Flowing Wells has always been one of the fun places to go and watch some football over the year. The Caballeros are 3-1 to start this season. They have got wins already this year in the they're in the 5A Sonoran division. They haven't really gotten into league play this year, but they've got non-league wins against Agua Fria, Amphi, the Prince Road rivalry. They won 34-6, and then last week they went down and knocked off Saurita 47-16. Their lone loss was to Sunnyside. Went on the road at Sunnyside and fell 34-7. So looking forward to getting over to Flowing Wells. This will be their last non-conference game or non-region game before they get into region play against Ironwood Ridge, Mountain View, Tucson, Nogales, and Maricopa. If you're looking at that Sonoran region right now, I'd have to say it's going to be an interesting region. I think Mountain View's got some talent this year, although they got bounced by Marana. They had a big win the week before. Matt Johnson, that crew up there, looks decent this year. Ironwood Ridge looks strong again. Tucson High. Don't sleep on Tucson High. We were out there that night. They got crowned pretty good by Marana, did the Badgers, but they have come back and won 2 in a row. They knocked off Cienega, beat their old coach. Of course, most of those kids probably never played for Justin Hargraves when he was the coach there, but still, I'm sure they've heard the stories. They knocked off Cienega at home 13-7, and then they went down to Buena on the road and put up 42 points and beat Buena, who was looking like they might be one of the top 5 teams in the area. But Tucson High went down there and put a whooping on them, 42-29 on their home field. So 2 straight wins for the Tucson Badgers. They're 3-1. Back-to-back victories coming off that 56-7 loss to Marana. So don't sleep on Tucson High and that 5A Sonoran. That could be a real competitive conference. Real competitive with all of those schools. Tucson, Flowing Wells, Ironwood Ridge, and Mountain View. I mean, that could definitely, I'd probably give the edge to Ironwood Ridge right now, but that could be a pick'em. What do you think, Jose? We got Jose in the seat over there. He also does a lot of coverage. He's one of the new members of our team and does a lot of coverage on high school football. What do you think of that 5A Sonoran this year, Jose?
Oh, it's going to be a resurgence in the Sonoran region. I think that Tucson is definitely a favorite in this region. Knocking off Buena, who also beat Ironwood Ridge. I think Tucson's offense is electric so far from what I saw against the Buena Colts. But at the same time, Mountain View is another favorite of mine.
There you go. So, again, it's wide open. It's wide open in that 5A Sonoran this season. So we'll be out at Flowing Wells. We'll get a look at them. We're looking forward to that. So join us out there on Friday night. It's almost Friday night, the pregame show, when Goldwater comes down the I-10 to take on the Flowing Wells Caballeros. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Tommy Lloyd gave his first press conference today. We had a chance to air that here live on Wildcats Radio 1290. Talked about a number of things, but I think maybe the thing that was most interesting that Tommy talked about today were the expectations for returning guard Caleb Love. Let's hear from Tommy on Caleb and what they are asking him to do in his final season of college basketball.
Caleb, first off, this is an amazing guy and just a first-class individual. And, I'm really proud of Caleb, and I'm proud to be associated with him. I'm really challenging him to continue to grow, he's had a very successful college career thus far. And, he's kind of this last generation of player that's going to get that additional year. And so I've just encouraged him to take advantage of it. Now, what does that mean? That means, for me, maybe getting outside of yourself and growing in other areas. And those are conversations that we've had, and the buy-in's been great. So, I'm expecting him to, obviously be a major significant contributor at both ends of the floor. And, I'm expecting his experience to kind of be able to carry us through and guide us in tough moments.
Grow? What do you mean by grow?
Growth could be like, maybe changing how you play a little bit. You know what I mean? Like maybe not just, going back to the drawing board and saying, well, I just want to do what I've done before, but maybe a little bit more of it or a little bit better. Maybe it's go back and rethinking what you did and kind of reinventing yourself or reinventing certain parts of your game. So, those are conversations, we've had and things we really spent a lot of time on this summer. So far the results have really stood out to me.
Did you have any suggestions to him in that regard?
Well, for sure. I had a lot of suggestions to him. And we'll keep those internal between me and him. And we're not a program that gets out ahead of ourselves. We're a program that wants to show proof of concept and to back up what we talk about. So I don't feel the need to say specifically what we're talking about. I'm just excited for for him to get out there and over the course of the season be able to display what we did. To me, that would be success. Way more success than me in an opening media conference, talking about what we're going to do. He's going to show you what we're going to do. That's our mindset.
So interesting there from Tommy Lloyd, asking Caleb maybe to change his game a little bit. I think one of the things you want to see from Caleb Love is consistency from game to game. He tended to get a little streaky there, and unfortunately, he kind of went away in the most important game of the year down the stretch. But you'd like him to be more even, scoring consistently 17, 18, low 20s points a night, and maybe more, consistent with his outside shot as well, which we saw him get on some benders. But then when he was cold, he was cold.
The trend in the last 10, 15 years, DK, is for a lot of players who are good at a smaller school to transfer to some of these basketball powerhouse high schools. And a real benefit to that is you get to play with other players who are D1 level caliber players that you're playing with on a regular basis, right? One of the bad habits you get into, Caleb Love is a killer scorer, DK. Like, he can get buckets. However, when a defense is designed completely to take him out and pressure him and trap him in corners or to take the ball out of his hands in certain situations, the ability to be able to find that, if you've got two guys on you, DK, someone's open. So he averaged 3.5 assists last year, 2 turnovers. The shooting numbers is really forcing who was taking late shot clock shots. Maybe if you're 0 for 6 from 3, maybe see one go in. Kelvin and I talk about this all the time. Maybe get to the rim, get to the free throw line, and see the ball go through the hoop. If you've missed your first 3 or 4 threes, what I'd like to see from Caleb is just more of the same and better decision-making in those big moments where you're going to default to your programming. And he's always been that killer scorer, right? So with late shot clock, he defaults to, I need to get by my man. I need to get to the hole. I need to make a mid-range shot. Just trusting your teammates. There's a lot of talent on this team, a lot of great bigs on this team. Last year in Duke at Cameron, the defining play of that game was Caleb Love taking 3 dribbles from the top of the key, drawing 2 defenders, bounce pass to Keyshawn Johnson for an and one with less than a minute to go, which gave Arizona the ultimate lead that they won that game by. Finding the open man by causing chaos off the bounce. Caleb Love clearly is capable of that. Dumping it down to the bigs, not taking shots over 6'8" long arm defenders. That's, I think, the biggest next step is that decision making in those big spots.
All right, so that's what you heard from Tommy Lloyd. He's asking Caleb Love to evolve in this final year, get better. What do you think that means to you? 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. What do you want to see Caleb Love do more of and do better this season than what we saw from him last year? We're joined by today the third member of our program because, again, Dragon Ball is away. He's off today. You had him up early. How did he do this morning?
He did pretty good.
Pretty good. That sounds like he's got some work to do still.
Well, he only did traffic for like 45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And then he came in here to do show prep for you.
Oh, okay.
So he had other things to do.
I apologize.
No, it's okay.
I didn't mean to be stealing him from you.
I think that he did fine. Well, let me put it this way. I went down the hall to give him space, and he didn't come to find me.
Oh, there you go.
So I think he did fine,
so
but
I wasn't him on his own.
I wasn't like watching over his shoulder.
What's the toughest part of it for someone that's just learning it?
I think, well, thankfully, like he's been on the radio before, he knows the system, but I think trying to get those traffic reports to be either a 30-second for our station down the hall.
Hit the post.
Yeah, hit the post, or 25 seconds on this station in the mornings. I think that's the most difficult thing.
That is. The timing of it can be indeed. How do you do it then? How did you explain that to him? Do you have like a timer? Do you back time, or do you front time, or do you have something rolling that tells you where you are time-wise?
The system we use, the little like recorder, it like has a countdown.
Oh, okay.
So it's super easy just to watch that.
That's cool, yeah.
But like also at the same time, you're reading your notes, you're checking out, and you're watching the clock. So, but I'm sure he did just fine.
Outstanding. Do you watch Dancing with the Stars at all?
No.
No, you're not a Dancing with the Stars fan?
No.
So I don't watch it either, but I do because my wife makes
so
me.
you do.
Exactly.
So you do watch
so
it.
So she makes me watch it because that's one of her shows, and I partake in her shows and whatnot. So they had. I don't know if you know the story of the Anna Sorokin, the girl that conned all those people in New York City from like the mid last decade. She's a foreign girl, came here, posed as an heiress, and like defrauded people of money and all of that.
Oh, a while ago, right?
Yeah. About 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago. Well, she's on house arrest, but she was on the show. So she got voted off last night. He was terrible. She could, first of all, she couldn't dance. Second of all, she had no personality whatsoever. It was like, I don't know if you remember this. You remember Dirty Dancing, the movie Dirty Dancing?
No.
Where you didn't watch Dirty Dancing? Oh God, it's one of my favorite movies from the 80s. All right, so Dirty Dancing, Jennifer Grey, the girl, the baby who's played by Jennifer Grey, has an older sister who's just, she's a little bit frigid. And there's this scene at the end of the movie where they're all up on the stage dancing at the end, and like the sister's just kind of moving back and forth like this, like real tight,
like stiff,
stiff. Like, yeah, that was like this Anna Delvey. She was just all stiff, and like it's like no smile and no personality and didn't even look like she really wanted to be there, then, it's like, why were you there? I mean, because people didn't want to see you there because, you're on house arrest and she's wearing this, like, decorated anklet on her foot. Because that's what it happens. You get the ankle bracelet when you're on house arrest.
Nice.
So, yeah. But, Anna, and we don't have to see any more of Anna Delvey on our screens because she got voted off last night.
Okay.
Or not voted back on because I think it's the person with the least amount of votes that gets sent home.
Gotcha.
All right, so that's your education.
Good.
On
You're like, thank goodness.
So you don't have to watch it now. I'll just watch it and I'll report back to you what happens.
Okay, please, yes. Keep us updated.
All right, now you report for everybody what's happening in traffic.
Okay, from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collision and a closure, Picture Rocks Road near Wade Road. Picture Rocks Road closed eastbound and westbound west of Wade Road due to a collision. Also a wreck that occurred at Prince Road and Oracle. An excessive heat warning, 10 a.m. Friday until 7 p.m. Saturday, and those highs those days around 107. It is 105 now, and I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Save big during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Right now, save big on appliances like the GE Stainless Steel Kitchen Suite, because Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 9/27 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Tune into Wildcats Radio 1290 weekly for Brett Brennan's football press conference, where you can catch up on all things Arizona football this season. Sponsored by Coors Light. Choose chill. Official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Tune in to DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290 Thursday afternoons to compete in the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge, where you can win money by placing a bet on the right team this football season. More info at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Sean Furrier here for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Whether you're new to Arizona or you've been driving here for decades, we all share the same roads and the same extreme driving conditions, like extreme Arizona heat, extremely large potholes, some extremely flooded roads, and there's always extremely distracted drivers, pedestrians, and that guy who drives a scooter backwards into oncoming traffic. You're driving in the world's largest video game, stopping, starting, turning, heating up, and cooling down. And that's just your afternoon commute. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care's 14 award-winning locations have been helping drivers just like you get home safely for over 60 years. With top-quality tire brands, no hidden extras, and one low price. Jack Furrier has everything you need to stay in the game, like wheel alignments, batteries, brakes, air conditioning, service at prices that won't break the bank. Ask a neighbor or friend about Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care's friendly service, or stop by, make an appointment online, or call ahead to the local's choice. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Wildcats Radio 1290 and Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers, are proud to support the University of Arizona radio broadcast. Your Arizona Wildcats will take on Utah this Saturday. Get all the info at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
The Slaughterhouse is celebrating its 20th year. Voted Best Haunted House in the USA in 2021 and Best in Arizona for 5 years in a row. A bone-chilling haunted house transformed from a 1950s meatpacking plant into one giant horrifying walkthrough. 50-plus horror-themed scenes with areas including Necropolis Graveyard, an infested boiler room, creepy clowns in Cirque du Soleil, and City Meats Human Meat Packing Plant. To make the 20th year our best ever, ever, we've added the world-renowned Hell's a Poppin' Circus. The ultimate freak show circus will be right here in Tucson for the month of October. Now open Thursday through Sunday throughout October. SlaughterhouseTucson.com.
And this Friday, we've got a sweet deal for you from the Slaughterhouse. You can get a general admission ticket for just $14.50, originally $29. And this sweet deal will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at WildcatsRadio1290.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
I'm Bridget Condon with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Bengals right tackle Trent Brown will miss the rest of the season after suffering a torn patellar tendon injury in Monday night's loss to the Commanders. 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey traveled to Germany to see a specialist regarding his Achilles tendonitis. McCaffrey was placed on injured reserve week 2 and is eligible to return Thursday night, October 10th against the Seahawks. Meantime, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin says Russell Wilson will continue to be a limited participant in practice this week, and the team is preparing to start Justin Fields Sunday against the Colts. Packers quarterback Jordan Love could be one step closer to taking the field for the first time Sunday since week 1. Head coach Matt LaFleur saying Love will practice on a limited basis this week as he works his way back from a sprained MCL. And former Packers Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre announcing he's been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Buying or selling a home is a big deal, literally. It's one of the largest financial transactions you're likely to make. So work with someone who will work with your best interest in mind. Someone who agrees to operate with transparency, honesty, and fairness every step of the way. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and are bound by a strict code of ethics that requires they put your interests above their own. Because that's who we are. Make sure your agent is a Realtor.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print everything for my business. Sure can. And the quality is guaranteed? Absolutely. Plus, you'll beat any price quote. Is that right? For sure. How about this one? We'll beat it. Can you print menus, signs, and flyers? Sure can. How about blueprints? No problem. What about red prints? Not a real thing. What if they were? We'd print them. And they'd look amazing.
Now at Staples, print more, save more. Up to $150 off your print purchase. Ends 11/2. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details and staples.com/price match for in-store price match guarantee.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Arizona football on the road this weekend at Utah. Arizona soccer at home for their first Big 12 home weekend ever. We're going to talk to the athletics director at the University of Arizona right now. She joins us for her weekly visit. Desiree Reed-Francois is joining us. And Desiree, we talked last week a little bit about Hispanic Heritage Month and the fact that it was more than just the events that were held at the last football game, that there was going to be an element that was going to be involved in this first soccer Big 12 home weekend as well. And we'll celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month there against Cincinnati tomorrow night.
Absolutely. We look forward to celebrating it. The Cincinnati, it's really special for our team. They're 6-3 and 1 overall. I think all of last year they only had 6 wins. And so I hope that people can come out and cheer on this team. They had that big win over Baylor. And yes, our team has some special surprises to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with our women's soccer program tomorrow.
We'll have a flag parade represent the Hispanic and Latinx countries represented by the student athletes on the team. The university also has a special Hispanic Heritage Month logo, and you can pick that up at the campus bookstore, which are obviously the locations there. You can also get it online at Fanatics. And we understand that as you guys continue to build on Arizona Sports Enterprises, which if folks are not still familiar with, is the new broadcasting arm of the University of Arizona Athletics Department, Spanish language broadcasts, which I think of the past couple of years have just been online, are coming back onto the radio.
They are. We're really glad to have Spanish language radio broadcasts on FM radio here in Tucson on 92.5, and all of football and men's basketball home games as of now. So, again, our Arizona Sports Enterprises Group is our in-house. It's our company that we created to sell our corporate partnerships. And Nikki Berry is one of our key leads there, and she and Sammy Swiger and several of our other teams members have really worked hard. It's been only 2 months, and I think I know we're 78% of our renewals, and we're ahead of our pro forma, so I really appreciate that.
And I know this has obviously been a little bit of a different turn from the past when we were, dealing with Learfield was kind of managing that aspect for the university. It's really a throwback to the way things were before a lot of the third-party corporate partnership arms kind of began to come into the college athletics. Is it different now in terms of how you guys market that than maybe what it was, say, 25 years ago when universities were handling this all on their own?
Well, I think what we wanted to do is we wanted to provide, and our Learfield colleagues are great people and really appreciate the foundation that they've laid. And they're actually working with us on the national side. But we just thought we wanted to, we have revenue realities, and we wanted to enhance our connectivity. We would have people reference that they were big corporate sponsors, and you just want to be able to have that continuity of service and that collaboration. And so this gives us a little more flexibility as well in this evolving college landscape.
We're chatting with the athletics director at the University of Arizona, Desiree Reed-Francois. Desiree, you obviously mentioned some of the revenue realities facing the athletic department. One of the things I wanted to ask about was kind of what you're seeing early on with the travel. I know the volleyball team left out on the road yesterday. The travel's a little bit different in that it looks like on the volleyball side, particularly, they're going to be playing Wednesday, Friday, which normally, obviously, in the past, it would maybe be a Friday, Saturday, or a Friday, Sunday situation. It seems like maybe there's going to be an extra day because they leave Tuesday. If they're playing Friday night, they might not come back till Saturday. Are you finding that there's a little bit more travel than maybe what the university was dealing with in the past, and how are you guys kind of dealing with that aspect of it financially?
Well, you know what? It's a little early. It's a little early to tell because, quite frankly, we just are getting now our basketball travel schedules. And so a lot of what we're having to do is we're forecasting, but the reality is, and some of our trips, we're just finding out who we're going to. So there's just still a lot of unknowns for me to give you a really thorough analysis. But most importantly, we got to just continue to keep supporting our student athletes as they're traveling a little bit further and making sure that we have our academic support folks geared up, which they are. And, speaking of our student athletes, I had a phenomenal lunch with 5 of our student athletes, and I'm happy to share a little bit about that with you. But I know you probably have questions you want to ask me, so
absolutely.
I want to be.
How did that lunch go?
You know what? Every month I take 5 student athletes as part of our Party of 5 lunch, and I want them to get to know one another. Our academic advisors select, and I want to get them to get to know me and vice versa, and hear about their career aspirations. And today we talked about if you were going to give a TED Talk, what would you want to tell the world? And I went into this, I flew in, I had an early morning flight, and I was a little tired, and I went into this luncheon, and I cannot tell you how just filled of hope I am, not only for Arizona athletics after talking with Matt Lado or Zach Plashert, and it was also Tanvi Narendran's 21st birthday today. I was like, and you're spending it here with us. Thank you. But man, like these young people, like how they want to go and change the world. I wish everybody could participate in this lunch because they talked about being present in the moment and the importance of resilience, and it was really special.
How did the students get selected for that?
Our academic advisors choose 5. I just asked for a broad cross-section and of ages and grades and transfers, and so it was. I had a men's track and field, women's golf, football, baseball, women's tennis, and and none of them had met one another, and just being a part of the conversation, it reminds you why you do what you do.
We're chatting with Athletics Director Desiree Reed-Francois. We were mentioning the women's soccer team home this weekend. They'll take on Cincinnati tomorrow night. And then West Virginia, ranked West Virginia on Sunday. And a lot of freshman awards this week. We got Zoe Mendiola, who was today named the Big 12 Freshman of the Week on the soccer side. And then earlier in the week, Avery Scoggins was named the Rookie of the Year for volleyball. These freshmen are impressing so far early on, Desiree.
Absolutely. And Carly Cisneros, she's fourth in the Big 12 in digs. This is tonight at 5 o'clock on ESPN Plus, and then they play TCU on Friday. We are 11-0, which is the first time since 2009. So I am so excited to see the trajectory of this program and see them continue to compete. And they are young, and they're hustling.
You mentioned ESPN Plus. I'm actually sitting here in the studio right now trying to get it to see if I can get it to come up on my television, because I just purchased it a couple of weeks ago when we had the NAU game for football. I imagine you probably got it for free, though. You didn't have to buy ESPN Plus, did you?
If I got it for free, it's news to me, because all I know is my husband has more remote controls, and he and my son Jackson were gone, and I was trying to watch football, and I had to call them and have them walk me through it. So do not judge. But speaking of watching football, I'm pretty excited. This is going to be my first visit to Utah.
Okay.
So I've heard. Have you been before?
I have not been to Salt Lake for football, no.
Okay. I've heard it is a tough place to play.
Yes, it is.
And we haven't. They're number 10 right now, I think, in the country. But I saw a lot of energy at practice on offense and defense, and they're really getting after each other. So I'm looking forward to the game.
7:15 will be the kickoff on Saturday night over in Salt Lake City. Our coverage will begin at 2:30 over at Corbett's for the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show. Now, will you be attending? You'll be attending that game. You guys taking a big group there as well, like you did to Kansas State?
Yes, we will be. I will be attending that game, and I'm really looking forward to it. And then I'm so excited to come back on October 5th. We're going to have a red, white, and blue stripe out. It's going to be 8 p.m. Tucson time on Fox, another nationally televised game against Texas Tech. And, we, after every home game, we send out surveys to our fans. And I heard a lot of feedback on kind of three main areas, and one was sound quality. And whomever wrote that, I agree with you. We got to get better in that space. It's not as good as it needs to be. It's a lot. We brought in some portable speakers, and we're going to continue to do that, but it's not where it needs to be. So we need to work on that, and that's a little bit longer-term fix. But we also heard that it was hard to get in and out of the Cherry Street garage. So Orville Jennings is our senior associate for facilities and events, and we're going to put a third lane going into Cherry Street garage. So hopefully that will start alleviating some of that pressure. And we're going to turn the exit lane into an inbound off of the national championship side drive. So just want people to know we're listening and we're adjusting. Also, we're going to add more concessions on the south side. And someone wrote to me personally and said, hey, the TVs on the north end over the east concessions were not on our game. So
what?
I've heard you. I promise you we're going to fix that and we're going to get better.
Whose game were they on?
You know what? I think they were on ESPN and they didn't get flipped. I'm not sure, but we've addressed it and we're going to get better.
There you go. And we got to mention also cross country. They only have one event at home every year, and that is coming up this Friday. Get up early and have breakfast with the cross country team out at the Tucson Country Club. I'm sure they have lots of croissants and fancy breakfast things at Tucson, and you can watch the kids run 7 a.m. this Friday for Bernard Lagat and his crew over there. That's always a fun event annually for them, too. So,
thank you so much for mentioning that. You're absolutely right. 7 a.m. It'll be nice and cool. So thank you. Yes, Tucson Country Club.
And then you've got your first Red-Blue game coming up next week. You excited for that?
I am very much looking forward to that. That should be incredible. We've got Richard Jefferson and Channing Frye. I mean, it's just going to be on October 4th at 6 o'clock, so it should be really fun. It's actually not my first Red Blue. I went to school here, and so I've seen a few showcases, and I'm really looking forward to it. But it's been my first one in the 20s, because the 90s was a long time ago, as I'm remembering.
Is Jackson worn out from his first 2 practices?
He is definitely worn out, but he talked about just how they get after it, and he talked about what a great coach Coach Lloyd is. So we're really proud to have our son here.
There you go. All right. Well, Desiree, we look forward. Have safe travels to Salt Lake City, and we look forward to chatting with you again next week.
Thank you for having me. Bear down.
Bear down indeed. Desiree Reeve-Francois, the athletics director for the University of Arizona. Party of 5. I like that. The luncheon that she has with the athletes. I grew up in the Party of 5 era, so that is a good title. Good time. I'm sure she did probably too. Maybe that's why she came up with that title, Party of 5. All right, much more coming up. We're going to hear from the volleyball coach, Charita Stubbs. They are going to be first serving at the top of the hour. I got to work on my TV here and see if I can get this ESPN Plus to come up on this Fire Stick thing that we have here in the studio. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. New collision reported Craycroft and Broadway Boulevard and Craycroft. The clearing stages, Prince and Oracle and Prince Road, and a closure from a crash. Picture Rocks Road is closed west of Wade Road. And our weather, excessive heat warning 10 a.m. Friday until 7 p.m. Saturday. Highs near 107 and 104 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples prints anything you need for your business like banners, flyers, and signs. And Staples will beat any price quote. Plus, now print more, save more. Up to $150 off your print purchase. Offer ends 11/2. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details or staples.com/price match for price match guarantee.
What do you do after celebrating 100 years in Tucson serving the community? Well, you get up the next morning and continue to do things that got you to the next 100 years.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Hey, Wildcat fans, Arizona football is here. Catch head coach Brent Brennan as the Wildcats enter their inaugural season of the Big 12 Conference. We need you to be part of the action, filling the stands and cheering on Arizona. Secure your seats for all 7 home games with season tickets, or pick the plan that is best for you by calling the ticket office at 520-621-2287 or visiting ArizonaWildcats.com/FB. Lock in your tickets today. We'll see you at Arizona Stadium. Bear down. Go Cats.
Online, on your phone with the Freedom 1400 app, on your smart speaker, or on the air. No matter how you listen. Join Brian Kilmeade for his insightful commentary and engaging discussions from 6 to 9 a.m. Keep the conversation going with Dan Bongino from 9 to noon for his straight-talking analysis. Then catch Chris Plant from noon to 3 and Jimmy Fela from 3 to 6 for more thought-provoking discussions and hilarious moments. Conservative talk for Tucson is Freedom 1400 AM.
Is he okay?
Ron, did you get hit on the head?
What? Oh, no. I was just reminiscing. Here comes a story. I was 5 or 6. A scruffy little ragamuffin, I was. A scruffy? What are you, Charles Dickens? Mama just wanted to comfort me.
Mama?
Comfort. It's why we started Alaskan AC, you know?
We know.
I was being a fuss budget. Golly, I was a scoundrel. Get to the point. These were the early days at Alaskan AC, see?
See.
It's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC. Ron. We don't take ourselves too seriously.
We literally just came up with the new Alaskan AC jingle last month.
What? Who's that? Who's there? Is it you, Mama? Oh, boy.
Yes, Ronnie, it's Mama.
Did your little Ron Bon make you proud?
Every day, dear.
Why did I even come to work today? Because...
It's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC. We don't take ourselves too seriously.
AlaskanAC.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2794. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-2794. That's 800-575-2794. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The Slaughterhouse is celebrating its 20th year. Voted Best Haunted House in the USA in 2021 and Best in Arizona for 5 years in a row. A bone-chilling haunted house transformed from a 1950s meatpacking plant into one giant horrifying walkthrough. 50-plus horror-themed scenes with areas including Necropolis Graveyard, an infested boiler room, creepy clowns in Cirque du Soleil, and City Meats Human Meat Packing Plant. To make the 20th year our best ever, we've added the world-renowned Hell's a Poppin' Circus. The ultimate freak show circus will be right here in Tucson for the month of October. Now open Thursday through Sunday throughout October. SlaughterhouseTucson.com.
And this Friday, we've got a sweet deal for you from the Slaughterhouse. You can get a general admission ticket for just $14.50, originally $29. And this sweet deal will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at WildcatsRadio1290.com.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute, sponsored by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly. The 3-0 Minnesota Vikings are the surprise story of the NFL season so far. And Sam Darnold is making a case for comeback player of the year, and Brian Flores is leading a strong defense. The Vikings are off to an awesome start, but how they perform in their next 4 games against the Packers, Lions, Jets, and Rams will really tell us how good they could be this season. I'm Zach Gelb.
Hey, football fans, looking to get in on the action every day of the week this season? Just check out BetMGM Ultimate Teams. It's free to play. Visit your promotions page each weekday, and you'll receive an Ultimate Teams card with a pro football team and spread. If the team on your card covers the spread that Sunday, you'll score a prize. Rewards include Parlay Boost tokens, Odds Boost tokens, SGP Parlay Boost tokens, No Sweat tokens, and bonus bets. If all 5 of the teams on your cards cover their spreads for the week, you'll have a shot to score our grand prize of up to $1,000. Log into your BetMGM account to get started, then visit your promotions page and click on BetMGM Ultimate Teams to get your cards. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Arizona only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary by market and expire within 24 hours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Real quick, we were talking earlier about the Arizona Diamondbacks and their playoff situation, as they are now just a half game up on the Braves. The Braves rained out again, and today. They're also already rained out for tomorrow in Atlanta as the storm comes through, the hurricane storm Helena, and some of the effects of that already hitting the Georgia area. This essentially is what if the Diamondbacks, they have 4 games remaining. If they go 4-0, they're in. Here's what the other scenarios are. If the Diamondbacks go 3-1 down the stretch, the Braves would have to go 4-1, and the Mets would have to go 3-2 down the stretch. Each of those teams have 5 games remaining, obviously, in order to knock the Diamondbacks out. If the D-backs just split their final 4 games and the Braves go 3-2, the Braves are in. The Mets would need to go 2-3 to knock the D-backs out. And if the D-backs go 1-3 down the stretch, then the Braves would need to go just 2-3 and the Mets 1-4 to claim those 2 spots and keep the Diamondbacks out of the postseason. So we'll continue to talk about that and update you on everything. The Braves and MLB are getting killed right now for what has taken place and them losing the last 2 games of this series to weather. We'll go over that as this show goes on today. Let's take a phone call here, 520-848-1290. We'll chat with our guy Paul in Phoenix. Paul, you're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, David. Hey, J-Dub. How you guys doing today?
Good. How are you, Paul?
Real good. I got 3 things.
Okay.
I not in any particular order. I did watch the press conference today with Tommy Lloyd, and every time I listen to that gentleman, I love him more and more. I love his kind of quirkiness, his kind of a little bit of attitude. He and Bruce Pascoe kind of go at it a little bit. I love that. I don't think we got
an actual Bruce today.
We did.
Did we get a Bruce?
We did. Did you hear the mic drop commentary?
The mic drop, yes.
Yeah, so I have it actually somewhere recorded, but Tommy had a very profound. He was asked about, what he'd learned during his first 3 years, going in his fourth year. And it was really all about the community of Tucson supporting the basketball program so much and him feeling like he gets up every day wanting to make everybody proud who's such a big part of this community. And then there was a tiny bit of dead air and Bruce started to ask a question and Tommy's like, I thought that was a pretty good finish right there. That was like a mic drop moment. And that did happen.
Yeah.
That was classic. You're right. That was great. So great to hear Tommy. He's, like he said, he's as excited as he was day one, and that's great. That's good news. And, I think he said tomorrow is officially the schedule comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what we believe. The schedule will be out tomorrow, yes.
That's what he said. He said he's already seen it.
Yeah.
He's already, looked at it, and it'll be out tomorrow. Okay,
in the world we live in, Paul, what we know is that the official Big 12 Twitter account tweeted tomorrow's date. That's it. They tweeted tomorrow's date, and they did this 3 days ago, and everybody just assumed, that must be finally when we get the basketball schedule, and that's been confirmed by Coach Lloyd and some others.
Okay, there you go. That's it. Okay, so the second thing, we're going to say football for last, kind of football. I apologize if I missed the early part of Desiree's, conversation with you. Did you bring up anything about the issue at UNLV with that quarterback?
I did not. No, she wasn't there. I mean, obviously she was at UNLV, but I don't know that quarterback was there when she was there, so I did not bring that up.
I'm sure she wasn't. I'm just curious if she has a thought about that whole thing, because here's one.
I think we all have a thought about that one thing, Paul.
Yeah. Well, if I was a big booster, let's just say if I was Jim Click or somebody like that, okay, and there's a young man who I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna give you X amount of money, okay, but there's a couple things you have to do for me, and that is you have to guarantee me that if and or when we go to a bowl game, you don't give me this, well, I'm getting ready for the NFL draft. You have to play in the bowl game, or I'm going to keep 25% back of your NIL money. So you decide what you want to do. Not that we're going to, any big booster is going to be able to get away with that, but I'm just wondering to kind of let these kids know, hey, you're representing the school and you're getting potentially paid. So in doing so, that includes the whole season, not just the games you want to play in, type of thing. So that's my editorial on that one. Okay. That's my editorial. And last but not least, me, the homer, I'm going to go out on a limb. Win or lose this weekend, I truly believe we're going to show up. And we're going to, obviously, we're going to play better than we did against Kansas State. I'd love to see a close game and just give ourselves a chance to win at the end. That's all. I really think the guys, I think Noah's probably he's probably the one who's beat himself up the most. I think there's a lot of things that he probably realized he could do better. And the young man he's probably lost a little bit of sleep over it, maybe not. But I'm looking forward to the game Saturday night. I think it's going to be interesting. It'll be a good opportunity for this team to kind of look themselves in the mirror and say, who are we? Are we going to roll over and let Utah beat us, 35 to 10, or are we going to step up and make this fun and make it challenging for the Big 12? So guys, I'll listen, bear down, and thanks for everything. And again, Tommy Lloyd, if you're out there, I am on your side 100%. You keep telling Bruce Pascoe. Okay,
Bruce, you're way ahead of me. You're way. That's what he said. You're way. I haven't even thought about if we're giving Jaden Bradley too many minutes yet.
We should make a bet of the first over under on the first napkin mention.
Bob Dobbs.
Yeah. First time I could take you down to Bob Dobbs and scribble it out on a napkin for you. Like, that's coming soon, but I don't know how long it's going to take.
Oh man, good stuff. Great to hear Tommy's voice again. Great to hear him back in the seat talking some Arizona basketball today. We'll dive in, and we probably won't get a chance to get a whole lot into everything he said today, but we'll definitely parse that out and give you some of the highlights as we go on. You did mention. Well, let me go ahead and play that right now. You did mention the part that he was talking about there at the end about what he has learned about this program over the course of the last 3 years, having been the head coach, taking over for Sean Miller. Let's go ahead and hear what he had to say about that.
I have the same enthusiasm, for the job as when I first started. I know my love of Tucson and the University of Arizona has really grown, as being somebody who wasn't from here or didn't have much, experience here. So I think, if your passion and your energy is still there, like you're beginning something, but your love and your loyalty to the community, the program grows, I think that really is it's a powerful force that gets behind you and motivates you every single day. I know my job, in simple terms, is to coach a basketball team, but I also know the impact that basketball team has on this community, and to me, it's a driving force for me every single day to be successful for the people of Tucson, the people of University of Arizona, and the people in the state of Arizona that love this place. And honestly, I'm saying that from the bottom of my heart. I mean, that drives me every single day. I don't need any individual accolades or awards. I want program success, for our players and for the members of this community.
How about Emmanuel?
I thought that was a good one to end on right there. I'm sorry. I kind of hit it home, and then I was almost going to mic drop it, and then you came with out of left field.
Oh man, Tommy he's very good. He's very good in that space, talking about his team, talking about basketball, talking about what this community and this means to him, and being a part of this program, and again, looking for some exciting things from that team as they go into the Big 12, and looking forward tomorrow to seeing what this was. I'm just looking forward so I know what the dates are and where I can schedule everything coming up. But yeah, that's what I want to know.
I'm looking for how many Mondays and Tuesdays are going to be involved, right? Because coming from a person who's almost 50 years old and grew up in Tucson and has spent my life around the U of A basketball program, I'm so used to Thursday, Saturday, that when I start seeing those Monday, Tuesday games on the schedule regularly throughout the conference play, that'll be the thing that really I think I'm anticipating, but it's still going to break my brain to see it.
Yeah. I can't. I'm trying to debate. Am I more happy to have Thursday nights off now and work Monday nights, or have Monday nights off and work Thursdays? I think I like the idea of having Thursday nights off. Don't get me wrong. That's wind down Thursday. We're starting to make that popular.
I think it all depends on how far the Guardians take their season.
That is true. Well, they could be playing on any of those days. In fact, the first game is going to be on. Their first game is going to be on October the 5th, so that's my birthday, and that's the night we'll play Texas. So I'll be keeping one eye on the Wildcats and Texas Tech that night, and one eye on the Tribe that night as well. All right, DK on the Sports Tip, 2 hours in the books. Third hour coming up. We're going to talk some football in that third hour with Kyle Quinn, the center. Get his thoughts on what's happening with this Arizona football team. DK on the Sports Tip, you're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions at a reported Craycroft and Broadway Boulevard in Craycroft. Crash and a closure, Picture Rocks Road west of Wade Road. Eastbound and westbound, Picture Rocks Road west of Wade Road. Travel is closed. And for your weather, we do have an excessive heat warning, 10 a.m. Friday through 7 p.m. Saturday, highs near 107 and 104 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's $1 Small Frosty Deal. Get ready to cool down this summer with the ultimate treat. This delectable dessert is too thick for a straw, but just right for a fry. Is it a milkshake? Is it ice cream? Neither. It's a Frosty. Come taste your favorite small Frosty flavor for just $1. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you
can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
Tune into Wildcats Radio 1290 weekly for Brett Brennan's football press conference, where you can catch up on all things Arizona football this season. Sponsored by Coors Light. Choose chill. Official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics.
Wildcats Radio 1290 and Goldberg and Osborne. The injury lawyers are proud to support the University of Arizona radio broadcast. Your Arizona Wildcats will take on Utah this Saturday. Get all the info at wildcatsradio1290.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2794. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-2794. That's 800-575-2794.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-859-3220. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220 or biglou.com.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
The kids are back in school, and it's still hot in Tucson. Due to the huge response from the $69 diagnostic service special, we're going to keep it going for September. Picturox Cooling, keeping you cool all summer long. Proudly featuring Rheem air conditioning systems. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
Picturox Cooling, heating and plumbing.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. The one and only home of Arizona baseball. Pre- and post-game coverage, play-by-play, and live press conferences. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata.
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
All right, we're waiting for Arizona volleyball to take the floor. I think they're playing that. Remember we talked about that new arena? I imagine that's where they're playing tonight, at the new arena at Baylor. Although they put out a video, there were like bugs walking on the court during their practice yesterday. Like a brand new arena, and it's already infested with bugs. What's going on with that? Arizona and Baylor, first Big 12 game of the ever for Arizona volleyball. I've got the TV. I'm going to see if I can turn my camera here so you can see. I've got it up there. As you can see, ESPN Plus. I've got it on the big TV. It keeps kind of buffering. So I think the video will start here shortly. Hopefully. It's the first time I've ever Nope. See, now I went back to the Your Event is Starting Soon screen there. It's the first time I've actually tried to watch it on television, this new ESPN Plus thing. I've only ever tried to watch it on my computer. So, nope, there we go. Now it's starting. So we will have volleyball up here very shortly as they get set to go in Waco. Let's hear from the head coach of your Arizona volleyball team, Charita Stubbs. Rita talked to us a couple of days ago about this 11-0 start to the season and the first ever Big 12 matchup.
So Big 12 starts, and these first couple of teams, I mean, they've had some challenges. They each have beat Minnesota, each have taken, another top Big 10 to 5. So what are you seeing this week?
I see two teams that are going to be competitive, two teams that are used to winning, even though they've lost a little bit throughout the year. I think that they're confident. I think that it is a good opener for us to go in and see what a different level looks like. I think that we are in a good place in terms of our energy, our confidence, and walking in better than we were last year at this point going into conference play.
And when you think about TCU, I mean, Melanie is the big name. What does she bring?
She brings a true outside hitter mentality. I think that she is athletic and she understands the game. I think she learned a lot when she was at Texas. I think she is by far the go-to hitter on that team. 21, McGee is the same for Baylor. So going in, our focus is on minimizing what they do. They're two great players, so they're going to get theirs, and that's okay. It's for us not to get upset when they actually score.
What are going to be some of the challenges, Rita, of this new travel process? Because it appears you're going to be spending an extra night on the road than maybe you did in the Pac-12. What have you identified as some of the challenges and maybe some of the positives of it?
I don't know that we're spending an extra night per se. It's just a matter of when we can get out. So we get back rather early on Saturday. So it's just a night there because of the time of the match. But I think that the biggest challenge will be being absent during the week more. So leaving on Tuesday, leaving in the morning. But we're trying to do everything we can to prepare for that. We'll have our breakfast here. We'll go to the airport. They'll get some study in. We'll get film in. And you just don't know what you don't know. And so we're going to make it into a more fun experience and kind of like, oh, wow, look what we get to do, versus, oh, man, I can't believe we have to do that.
I want to ask you about the offices, because I didn't know that you had the old AD offices. Yeah. How'd that come about? And I mean, I know they were awful where you were before, but what's it been like?
I don't know that I would have said awful, but nonetheless, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, the offices have been like that right before I left. And so they were in a remodeling period when I first left. But prior to that, the coaches, the two assistants, would share the big space. And so it was a desk on one side, a desk on the other side. And then the changes made, and I was kind of bummed. I was like, oh, now I'm leaving, and, you'll actually get your own space. But nonetheless, we tried to make it as not homely, but as homey as possible. But when I had my meeting with Desiree the first time, she asked for things that we wanted or whatnot, and just kind of catch her up to speed. And so I said, when you get a chance, if you can just go by and take a look at the office. I tend not to take recruits in there on purpose, but just kind of give me an idea of what you think. And then she called, I think it was like a day or so later, but she called me in the evening. So I was like, oh, wow, what did I do wrong? Not that I should think that way, but let's be honest, you kind of sit back and pause. And she said, I went by your office, I didn't touch anything, but I took a look. Oh, I think I may have a solution for you. And so then that's when she shared with me that she was going to move her office over to the academic center, and that we would be able to take over the AD suite.
So you mentioned just offhand that David combined, you still were getting things organized. I didn't realize that's what it was. So how was that coming, that office?
It's wonderful. It's nice that the players will come up and hang out. We have a kitchen area, and so there are snacks in there all the time, so you should come by and have some as well. And we just opened it up. We didn't tell anyone they couldn't use it anymore, even though it's now our office area. So we get a lot of interaction. Our managers come up, and they're actually able to do more for us versus than just being in the gym. But there's a space for them because we have a workspace as well.
Allowed Avery to kind of step to the forefront in that competition for the center?
Avery understands the setting. a lot. Like you don't have to tell her what to do, you just have to tell her not to do something because she tends to see things a little bit faster. She likes to go against the flow versus, setting into the grain of things just because it is what it is. But a lot of it has to do with the hitters connecting with her and putting them in a position to be comfortable and be successful as well.
Seen, I guess, a lot of freshmen that are able to come in right away and kind of take that role?
Well, yes and no. And no, because sometimes it's what the coach wants and being comfortable. I sit back and I joke with Dave. I said, if you were here, I would wonder if you would still go with Anna versus Avery based on the things that he deemed more important than possibly I think is more important. So it just depends on what the coach's philosophy is. And I remember when Panina was here her freshman year, and there was a young lady that was on the team, and the team wanted the other young lady to play versus Panina because of the comfortable, I can't even say the word, how comfortable they were with that. But then they started to understand. And so that's why for the longest it was going back and forth. Some of the hitters enjoyed hitting off Anna a little bit more. They were able to understand it, whereas others weren't as successful. So we statted everything in practice. And so each setter had their team hitting percentage when they played. And we kept it as equal as possible.
Carly's ability to just hit the ball down the line, what does that do for her game offensively?
Well, it makes her a threat right off the bat, and if I'm a team playing against Carly, I would block a line and force her to have to score in other ways. And so that's what I told her when we recruited her. I told her that all spring. I told her that in the fall. And so it forced her to open up her game a little bit more because why would you go away from what works if it's available to you? So the fact that she sees the game and understands the game a lot has allowed her to evolve faster with that.
And as far as your passing, you've got good numbers right now from both your outsides and from Brenna. But the serving's going to get tougher. So what are you expecting from those players?
Well, Baylor is a very good serving team, so we're expecting to be challenged right off the bat and be minimized a little bit depending on how we actually handle the situation. But today in practice, our question was, one, what was your Sunday win? But then the other was, what is the scouting report on Arizona? And I said, let's be transparent. Let's be vulnerable here so that there are no surprises. And so I said, Carly, they're coming after you because you're a freshman, not necessarily because you can't pass. And I said, Jalen, if you ever see serve receive, they're coming after you as well. And I said, that's not a bad thing, but we want to understand what's going to happen. And so we spend a lot of time on serving and passing. And that's always been the thing that's most important in the game of volleyball.
You mentioned Sunday win. What is that?
Yeah, so we write a question meaning me, write a question on the board every day. And so I want to know what their win was on Sunday. And so in terms of what did you do for yourself? And part of our recovery and being in a good position is to make sure that we get time to do the things that we enjoy. So it could be cooking, it could be binge watching television, it could be going to church, various things. And I got the win from my life coach. It was one of the things, she was like, okay, what was your 10 for today? What was your big win? And so as I learned information from her, I implemented with the team.
I know Brenna was committed to West Virginia before she came here. What was that process like, and what did you see from her that you thought she could help you?
Well, when she was at West Virginia, and then there was a coaching change, so she was just kind of sitting there idle, and then I talked to the previous coach, I talked to her club coaches, and they said, this is a kid that can do it, and I was familiar with the team. If I'm honest, I really didn't know who she was prior to going in, but she was the glue that helped the team stay together, because that team had a ton of Division I talent on it as they were learning to pass, and so she was a gritty kid that would just get in your face and say, I got this ball. She's a gym rat, and all the things that we love. And she was committed to coming out to visit the campus ahead of time just to put herself in a position while she was waiting to see if she was going to be able to stay at West Virginia. But it was to our game that she decided to leave.
All right, that is Charita Stubbs. Rita Stubbs, the head coach of your Arizona volleyball team. She mentioned Panita Snuka, the outstanding longtime setter here, back 2013, 2016, Pac-12 Setter of the Year as a senior in 2016. Brings back some memories. I think she spent some time coaching as a volunteer coach at BYU. I'm not sure if she's still there or not, but if she is, we might get a chance to see Panita back this year. All right, things have started. The game is on. I'll turn my camera here again if I can. Actually, I can't because we've lost the stream. So there you go. Sometimes that happens. So, but they have started in Waco. Baylor is up early by a score of 6-3. They challenged the first point of the game. Did the Bears? They challenged it on a touch. It was a hit for Baylor that went out of bounds, and they challenged a touch on Carly Cisneros, and the call was overturned, and the point given to the Baylor Bears, and so they went up quickly 4-1, and now it is 6-3 in favor of the Baylor Bears. First set of the first ever Big 12 women's volleyball game for your Arizona Wildcats. So they'll play Baylor tonight, and then Friday night they will play at TCU. Both of these teams are ranked. Both the Baylor Bears and the TCU Horned Frogs are ranked. So a couple of really tough matches right out of the gate for your Arizona Wildcats to start this season in the Big 12 Conference. So we'll keep you up to date on what's happening with the Arizona Wildcats as they continue playing this opening set at Baylor in their Big 12 opener. Joined by the third member of our team today, fourth member overall, because Dragon Ball's got the day off. Cricket is back with us, and Cricket does not necessarily have tickets, but I hear you got a sweet deal for people.
This one's really, really good on Friday.
Okay.
Our sweet deal is from the best haunted house in Arizona for 5 years in a row. Sweet deal on Friday from Slaughterhouse.
Oh, wow.
Which is super exciting. You don't like super scary, do you?
Not really.
And Slaughterhouse also voted the best haunted house in America in 2021. And they have got 50-plus horror-themed scenes like Necropolis Graveyard, an infested boiler room, creepy clowns in Cirque du Soleil.
Now, let me stop you there. Are you one of those people that is afraid of clowns? Because I know a lot of people that just do not like clowns.
I mean, I wouldn't have like their artwork in my house, but like it's fun to scream and run away from clowns at Slaughterhouse.
Okay.
You know, just scream, with your hands flailing in
My
the air.
uncle had he had hundreds of porcelain clowns. He was a collector like that.
I think you told us that. Was that weird?
I never. I mean, I'm not freaked out by clowns, but I know there are a lot of people that would go in there and they just don't like them. Clowns just are not their thing.
Yeah, I mean, they're not my choice of decor, but it's super fun though to be at Slaughterhouse and to scream and run from all the creepy clowns. Our sweet deal on Friday again from Slaughterhouse. You get half off a ticket into Slaughterhouse, only $14.50 instead of $29. And the sweet deal on Friday at 8:30 online at wildcatsradio1290.com.
And they've got what is it? Hell's Kitchen. Is it going on as well this year?
Well, they do have the Hell's Poppin' Circus.
Hell's a Poppin' Circus.
Yes, I might have said that kind of wrong.
More crazy clowns.
More crazy stuff, exactly, yes. It's going to be awesome, and that one's going to go really fast, I think.
5 years running, best haunted house in the state of Arizona, Slaughterhouse, and I believe the best haunted house in the country.
In 2021.
2021. So get on out there on Friday, Wildcats Radio 1290, 8:30 a.m., for that sweet deal, half off. Did you take your youngins to that? Or you still have one youngin who probably goes to haunted houses, your niece.
Well, my niece, it's going to be her first one this year.
Oh, so she's never
ready.
been.
She went once, and she did not like it.
Did not like it, okay.
Yeah, she was very young. My nephew's going to go to all the haunted houses this year. But the youngest, the 6-year-old, she's not going to this yet.
Not going yet. She's not ready for that type of excitement.
Right, but we're going to scare the boo out of my 12-year-old.
She's 12, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, is she playing soccer still? How's soccer going?
Yeah, she is. She had a tournament last weekend in Phoenix, and they won.
All right.
Yeah.
Outstanding. That's what we like to hear for sure. All right. Cricket's got everything you need to know about that sweet deal as well as your traffic.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Big crash and a closure, Picture Rocks Road near Wade Road. Eastbound and westbound, Picture Rocks Road west of Wade Road, travel closed. Other collisions, Speedway west of Alvernon, Wetmore and Oracle, and also Grant Road west of Tucson Boulevard. An excessive heat warning, 10 a.m. Friday until 7 p.m. on Saturday, and our highs near 107 those days, about 103 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Big O Tires. Get a Big O Tires Healthy Car Care Special. $29 conventional oil change or $59 full synthetic oil change. Service includes lube oil filter, 4-tire rotation, alignment check, battery check, AC check, and brake inspection. Limited time offer. See Big O Tires for details.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Paid for by Hims & Hers Health. Hims & Hers Weight Loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded.
Everyone's talking about the breakthrough of weight loss drugs. With Hers, you can access doctor-trusted weight loss plans online, like compounded GLP-1 weekly injections with the same active ingredient as Ozempic and Wegovy, all for as low as $199 a month with a 12-month plan paid up front. Get started at forhers.com/afford today. That's forhers.com/afford.
With Progressive, you get more than savings. You get access to us through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
Oh, I see what you're doing here, Jamie. Giving me all these ways to stay in touch so I have no excuse not to. Well, you're in luck, because this guy's in the market for a new BFF.
Actually, all our customers can contact us this way.
Oh. Yeah, no, I was just kidding.
But I am always up for Taco Pizza! Oh, Jigsaw!
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Quick, she's over here. I don't know. I just found her like this.
Yeah, she's banged up, but she'll be fine.
Oh, thank God. What can I do?
Just need the keys. And, sir?
Yeah?
Your car's gonna be fine.
Thank you.
Mobile detailing from Recon Auto Detailing. Tired of wear and tear on your vehicle or just tired of cleaning it yourself? We'll come to you. Book with us online and see why we have over 1,100 5-star reviews. Recon Auto Detailing. ReconDetail.com.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
As coach of the Wildcats, I know the importance of teamwork. Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Is your AC system more than 10 years old and costing you too much in repairs? Beat the heat, call Right Way. Get a new system with 10-year parts warranty, 10-year labor warranty, and 60 months no interest financing. Make replacing easier on your wallet. Call today.
Don't delay. Call or text 520-657-0699. If it's worth doing, do it the right way.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports, sponsored by Allstate. The New York Liberty closed out their first-round playoff series with a Game 2 home victory over the Atlanta Dream last night. Superstar Sabrina Ionescu shined for New York, scoring a postseason career-high 36 points and dishing out 9 assists.
Honestly, it's just doing whatever it takes to win. Getting my teammates open and good looks is a huge kind of part of what I do and pride myself on. So I think just continuing to take what the defense gives me while also just being assertive, shooting the ball with confidence, and continuing to get downhill and drive to and kick.
New York's Jonquel Jones scored 20 points and added 13 rebounds. The Liberty lost in the WNBA Finals last year, but they are now one step closer to their first championship in franchise history. Up next for New York in the second round is a rematch of last year's WNBA Finals with the Las Vegas Aces. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Amber Theo Harris on Westwood One.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have a full tank of gas first before road tripping through the desert.
Empty? Seriously? Maybe I can walk.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Maybe I can't.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month. But you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Sponsored by Age of Learning.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290. It's the Wildcat Hour, which means it's time for our Arizona Insiders.
Am I late?
No, my boy, you're just in time. Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions of U of A football and the Big 12. So bear down, Wildcat Nation, and let's talk Arizona football. Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Coors Light. Choose chill.
All right, let's talk some Arizona football with the center, Kyle Quinn. U of A football class of 2012 joins us. And Kyle, an early bye week coming after your first difficult road game against another Power 5 at Kansas State. I think it's actually probably a good time to have the bye because the Wildcats offense has struggled the last two games. And it gives you an opportunity maybe to try to fix some stuff now that you're getting in to the beginning of the conference schedule. It's very rare, I think, that you would have a bye before the start of conference play, but a chance to really kind of work on some things heading into Big 12.
Certainly. David, thanks for having me on. It's been a long, 14 days since we had a football game here for Arizona. So, ready for Arizona to be back in the mix here this weekend. But, yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head, David. The bye week really came at a very opportune time for this Arizona Wildcats team. Coming off a tough performance at Kansas State, this bye week really allows them to kind of regroup, retool, get back on the practice field and figure out what they did good and what they did so far the first three games that they need to work on. And top to bottom, it was really great timing. I was really surprised when the schedule came out with this early bye. But, I mean, you saw what happened in the Big 12 this weekend. It was a conference of chaos this past weekend. So maybe it's a little bit of a luxury here for Arizona to kind of sit back, on an off weekend and let the conference kind of sort itself out, get the calamities of week one out of the way, and then they jump back into it going on the road here this week against Utah.
Kyle, I don't think there's any question that Utah is probably the leader in the clubhouse right now. But even back in Las Vegas, I had said really there's probably – 7 to 8 teams that could have a shot to win this thing. And now I think that list, maybe for second, third, fourth, fifth is now even grown maybe to past 10 teams that could play into the top 5 in this conference. I mean, I don't think anybody expect Arizona State maybe to be as good as they appeared to be. I don't think, a lot of people had kind of written BYU as maybe it being an off year for them, and then they come out and put a pounding on what we saw from Kansas State last week. Central Florida is scoring points at a massive rate. I think there's a lot of parity in this conference, and I think, for all the talk of how exciting Big 12 men's basketball is going to be, I think Big 12 football is carrying that same cachet.
No, absolutely. I was getting dizzy this weekend going back and forth trying to find all the Big 12 games because there's just so much action going on. But, I'm going to say something here. with the Big 12 Conference right now. I will not be surprised when we get to the Big 12 championship game here if there are two teams that both have multiple losses playing for the conference title and that automatic spot in the college football playoff. It's really every single week you see these matchups. You see how hard it is to go on the road in the Big 12 and win at some of these staple schools that have great traditions and great teams right now. And you didn't even mention Oklahoma State. Yeah, they had a rough game against Utah last week, but Utah is the leader in the clubhouse, and now you've got Oklahoma State going up against Kansas State, who are both 0-1 in the conference, and it's almost a must-win game for those two right now. So the stakes are just going to get higher as the season goes on, and it's going to be exciting to see what unfolds here. It's going to go fast, but December will be here before we know it.
We're chatting with Kyle Quinn, U of A center, class of 2012. He's our Arizona Insider, brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light is an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Coors Light, there's nothing like game day at Arizona. All right, Kyle, let's talk offensive line since that's where you played. What is your assessment so far on what you've seen from this line? It's been a lot of moving pieces in there. Obviously, Rhino Tuaputau missed a game with his injury. He came back in the last game. We've seen Leif Magnuson in and out of there. We've seen Ryan Stewart in there. We saw Grayson Stovall get a start at center against NAU. Just a lot of moving pieces. And how do you think that's kind of led to the cohesiveness of what we've seen so far with the offensive line?
Yeah, it's been an uphill climb for this offensive line so far. It's not for a lack of effort. It's just trying to keep the same guys on the field right now. And, obviously when you had Josh Baker, your starting center for 28 games, miss a game with an injury against NAU, you can kind of see, there were some things that this unit has to work on. And you watch them, Baker came back against Kansas State, got some familiar faces out there. And overall, the first couple of drives, first couple of plays, I was pretty impressed with the offensive line. Kansas State does a really weird defense. They do that 3-3-5 stack, and that is a lot of rule breakers as an offensive line. So it looked like at the start of the game they were dialed in, ready to go. But this bye week, coming from an offensive lineman, the bye weeks are just invaluable. It's a chance for you to get in the film room, kind of critique yourself because there's so many ins and outs of the position. Where are my hands at? Where are my feet at? Is my pad level too high? What am I seeing from defenses? Am I calling the right protection? So there's so many things that this offensive line can benefit from during this bye week, and I expect them to really have their best game because they're going to need to, because Utah's defensive front is one of, if not the best, not just in the conference but in the country.
You mentioned the old 3-3-5. Obviously, that was Rich Rod's defense during your first year with his regime there at the end of your tenure with U of A. What do you remember about that defense and how you guys dealt with it in practice?
Yeah, it was a challenge at first because there's so many rule breakers to that, because every offensive line has a system. You have to call protections and blitzes and twists. You have to be able to pick them up. But when you have defensive linemen stacked with linebackers directly behind them, you're not sure where they're going to go because they haven't declared their gaps yet. So when you're pass protecting or run protecting, you really have to identify your targets and try and figure out, what's the defense tipping? Is the safety lined up a little bit deeper in the box? That defensive end just a little bit tighter? There's all those little things that this offensive line for Arizona, they're really experienced. So they have those, that game experience that's just invaluable against a defense like that. And if you watch this offensive line in the first half, I was really impressed with their pass protection. They were we call it setting the dish, where they set off the line of scrimmage. The center gets about one kick off the line of scrimmage. The guards are 2 kicks, and the tackles are about 3 to 4. You really set that bowl for the quarterback and Noah Fafita to try and establish a pocket. And against a defense that's as aggressive as that, that's you need that to be able to get your quarterback to feel comfortable.
Chatting with Kyle Quinn, U of A center. And Kyle, we've seen a lot of the 6 offensive linemen set where they kind of bring in that extra tackle on the edge. What have you seen with that? What do you like about that? What do you want to see them try to do more in those when they bring in that particular formation?
Well, David, I'm a diehard, passionate 49ers fan. I'm from the Bay Area. So I got to see that with Trent Williams, one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL right now, when they put him as an H-back and they started motioning him across the line of scrimmage. I mean, look out. That is a lot of humanity that is going to hit something, whether it's an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman. Bodies are going to fly. And I really, really like that. I love the heavy sets. I'm an old-school offensive lineman, getting just getting as much beef on the line of scrimmage as possible. You create extra gaps, and you put the defenses in a bind sometimes because they have to cover it with guys that may not be as big. So Arizona's used their big package a couple times this year. They used it against Kansas State, and Quetta Conley was able to bounce a couple runs because Kansas State was so loaded up in the box to stop it. He was able to put his foot in the ground and get outside and pick up a couple big plays on that opening drive. So I'm a huge fan for it. I'm all for it, and I hope Arizona continues to utilize that package moving forward throughout the season.
I know, obviously, Kyle, you played on the offensive side of the ball on the line, but in terms of the defensive line, I think we can all agree one of the things we want to see better is the defensive ends contain. And Brent Brennan talked this week and last week about how they've got to get their eyes in the right place, and right now that's not the case. They're reading down the line, and things are getting outside of them. What do you want to see this defensive line do to kind of try to shore that negative up right now?
Yeah, we really want to see this defensive line. Really, the biggest thing, David, is they have to continue to gain experience. You've seen almost 12 to 13 different defensive linemen play so far for Arizona this season. That's a lot of reps that are divided up when really only about a handful to half a dozen guys that have played meaningful reps this year. So when you talk about containment as a defensive lineman, you cannot understate the value of game experience, understanding, when it's live, when it's full go, how quickly things happen, because you have to have great eye discipline like you're talking about, and how you get great eye discipline is your technique. Understanding that, hey, instead of looking in the backfield, seeing where the football is, I'm watching that tight end or I'm watching that offensive lineman in front of me and making sure I get my aiming points down. Am I attacking his outside shoulder? Am I attacking his inside shoulder if it's a blitz? Am I keeping separation? Because as an offensive lineman, it's a great feeling, David, when you are zone blocking a defensive lineman and you get your helmet on his play side shoulder, you can just run him into the sideline because you know that running back can keep pressing that ball to the play side and doesn't have to cut it back so soon where the unblocked defenders are waiting for him. So, seeing both sides of the coin here, it's really going to come down to who can get up to speed with their experience and use the technique that they've been working on the past few weeks to try and remedy the issue with the containment, especially against mobile quarterbacks.
Kyle, you guys went into Salt Lake City your senior year and won. Of course, you guys had a young man by the name of Kadeem Carey running behind you. I believe I'm looking at the numbers. You guys ran for 320 yards that day. What do you remember about that performance and what it felt like to roll up numbers like that in Salt Lake City?
Okay, so you set the table for me on this one, David. I'm going to go back down memory lane here. Were you covering that game by chance?
I was not there, but I was covering the team, yes.
Okay, so this is the famous jump around game. I don't know if you remember this at all.
I vaguely.
Okay, so to keep it short, what happened is we're losing by a touchdown in the third quarter. Utah had a great third quarter and was able to set the tone and really take the lead and take control of the game. But we're going into the break between the third and fourth quarter, and the Utah marketing team played the song
House of Pain. Yeah.
What they didn't know is we have been practicing and warming up with that song at practice the whole week. So Coach Rodriguez had really made a point of emphasis during practice. When you hear that song, go crazy, dance, do whatever you want to do, just show energy. He's really keeping the fire going in the middle of the season like that. So when that song played on the PA system, our whole sideline erupted. I mean, I remember a couple guys were doing golfing impersonations. I remember Coach Robert and I was shadow boxing on the sideline, and then you look up in the stands and you see our little sliver of fans just going absolutely nuts. And I think they cut the song after 30 seconds because they just realized they kind of let the dogs out. It was just insane. And what happened? We scored 17 points in the fourth quarter and ruined their senior night at Utah. So that was a quick story, but that's definitely one of the games I have earmarked in my memory just from how special it was to get a win up there given the situation.
The jump around game.
The jump around. I'll never forget that.
Wow, that was, like you mentioned, 17 points in the fourth quarter. Matt Scott threw a touchdown pass to Austin Hill, and you guys came from down 24-17 to win it 34-24 in front of a raucous crowd there that night. That's again, it's not often Arizona's been able to go in there and win. But it seemed like during the Rich Rod years that they had a penchant of being able to get victories in Salt Lake City. It's a much different defensive team now with Kyle Whittingham. Tough place, but it can be done. You can go in there and win in Salt Lake City for sure.
Yeah, certainly. Rice-Eccles Stadium is not only one of the best stadiums in the West Coast, but also one of the best in college football. And it really kind of, when Florida went and played Utah, I think it was last season, and lost at Utah, it kind of opened the eyes for the rest of the country to understand just how tough this place is to play. They pack it in there. They've got a student section that is absolutely insane. They track how many false starts the opponents have throughout the year. So you'll see a lot of 5 placards hanging up on the railings. And they know their football. They are a very passionate community, and they've got a winning tradition up there. Kyle Whittingham, I mean, you have to pinch yourself when you see he's been there 20 years at the same school in this day and age, David. You just don't see that in college football right now. So for his product and his players right now, just continuing to set the bar really high and overcome adversity. Look what they did at Oklahoma State last week when all the cards were stacked against them. Yeah. They still found a way to win. So it's just a hats off to them. It just makes that environment that much tougher, but it also makes it that much sweeter when you win on the road in a hostile environment like that.
Well, if our running backs can go in there and run for 320, I think we'll be all right Saturday. Kyle, I appreciate you as always. We'll talk to you Saturday on the pregame show, and we'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks. Get your thoughts as we get in here to Big 12 conference play.
Sounds good, David. Thanks a lot for the call. Bear down.
Thanks to Coors Light for bringing you today's Arizona Insiders on Wildcats Radio 1290. Coors Light is an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Choose chill.
Kyle Quinn, the center for the Arizona Wildcats. Always great to get a chance to talk to him, pick his brain on some football. We will be live from Corbett's off 4th on Saturday at 2:30 for the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day, getting you set for the Wildcats and the Utah Utes. One more final time, Cricket gets you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Picture Rocks Road closed near Wade Road. Picture Rocks Road closed west of Wade Road. Other collisions reported Speedway west of Alvernon, Wetmore and Oracle, Grant Road west of Tucson Boulevard, and also 6th Avenue to the south of Valencia. We do have an excessive heat warning, 10 a.m. Friday through 7 p.m. Saturday. Those highs those days near 107. And it is 104 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Hey, Wildcat fans, Arizona football is here. Catch head coach Brent Brennan as the Wildcats enter their inaugural season of the Big 12 Conference. We need you to be part of the action, filling the stands and cheering on Arizona. Secure your seats for all 7 home games with season tickets, or pick the plan that is best for you by calling the ticket office at 520-621-2287 or visiting ArizonaWildcats.com/FB. Lock in your tickets today. We'll see you at Arizona Stadium. Bear down. Go Cats!
Is he okay?
Ron, did you get hit on the head?
What? Oh, no. I was just reminiscing.
Here comes a story.
I was 5 or 6. A scruffy little ragamuffin, I was.
A scruffy? What are you, Charles Dickens?
Mama just wanted to comfort me.
Mama?
Comfort. It's why we started Alaskan AC, you know?
We know.
I was being a fuss budget. Golly, I was a scoundrel.
Get to the point.
These were the early days at Alaskan AC, see?
See.
It's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC.
Ron.
We don't take ourselves too seriously.
We literally just came up with the new Alaskan AC jingle last month.
What? Who's that? Who's there? Is it you, Mama?
Oh, boy.
Yes, Ronnie, it's Mama.
Did your little Ron Bon make you proud?
Every day, dear.
Why did I even come to work today?
Because...
It's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC. We don't take ourselves too seriously.
Alaskan AC
Post Move is the only after party for the Arizona basketball Red-Blue game, happening October 4th at Gentle Bands, benefiting Arizona men's basketball. Created and produced by Dust Music Festival, the all-ages event will be hosted by former U of A legend and three-time NBA All-Star Gilbert Arenas, with performances from DJ Z-Trip, Mixmaster Mike of BC Boys fame, and track star The DJ, plus an Arizona memorabilia silent auction and much more. Get your tickets at ArizonaPostMove.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2794. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-2794. That's 800-575-2794. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen here. Join me and my compadre, Chris Brockman, every Monday on the Overreaction Monday podcast.
A 2023 last place team will win a playoff game this year.
I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals to be that team. If you gave me two,
safe bet.
If you said two last place teams, I might say that's an overreaction. Come react or overreact with us. This one makes it much easier. Right. So thank you for making it easier.
Well, tune in next week.
Overreaction Monday, wherever you listen.
This is Zach Gelb of the Sports Minute, sponsored by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly. Steelers coach Mike Tomlin said there's no need to name Justin Fields as starting quarterback. Whatever game Tomlin is playing, though, he'd be crazy to not start Fields for the rest of the season. With that being said, Russell Wilson should try to force a trade by the deadline and go to a team like the Raiders for the rest of the year so he could actually play. I'm Zach Gelb.